Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama. Call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama. Call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama. Call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. All right, good morning. Happy Monday. That's right. That's where we are. Monday morning. Everybody's good. Hope you guys had a safe and wonderful weekend. Let me see here now. We got to get this show on the road, honey chill. Yes, indeed. Let me put on my glasses so I can see what's going on. Right. So wishing you guys that you had a fantastic weekend. Let me just go ahead and pull up our camera here and send out the links. And we got a lot to talk about. Oh my gosh, what a exciting weekend. Yes, it was something else. Gonna do a quick good morning greetings because we got so much to talk about. Let me just see here now. I'm trying to find something on our, oops, that's not what we're looking for. Oh boy. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Gotta make sure that we can default graphics. Let me see. No. All right. I'll multitask while we continue the conversation. So how many were all shook up this weekend? What a hot mess. Had a couple earthquakes. And quite frankly, you know, I was surprised that I didn't feel any of them. I don't know about anybody else. Anybody else not feel both? Because I didn't. I was at home, I believe, both times when I got the notification. Yeah. And I did not feel a thing. In case you live in a hole and you missed it this weekend, Cayman actually experienced two earthquakes, two evenings in a row. The first one was a 4.2. And then the second one initially came in as a whopping 8. And then they updated it and came back and said that it was a 7.6. Well, gosh, that's still an 8 to me. Round it up. Whoa. What a thing, huh? So, needless to say, a lot of people were a bit surprised at this, at the magnitude of it. And I think there was a lot of things that, quite frankly, you know, shocked us. We had a tsunami warning. I think that's only the second time, and I stand to be corrected, but I believe that is only the second time that Cayman has actually had a tsunami warning. Am I right? I know we had one back in 2020, February. That was February as well, right? When we had that incident. And so that was something then, and I definitely felt that one. But this one, I didn't feel it. Now, the most bizarre thing is I'm not quite sure what all the factors are that determine if you feel an earthquake, to be quite honest. But, you know, I had neighbors 2 houses down who felt it and I didn't feel it. So I was like, maybe it was just me. I had a girlfriend, she was at home. She's like, oh man, she was thinking that she was getting, you know, one of her dizzy spells. And, but then she realized everything was shaking. So she was like, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. So, wow. Well, I tell you what, there were a number of people who were a bit surprised that we had this earthquake. And you know, I tell people the interesting thing really is that the earth is always moving. We don't always feel it, obviously, but it's constantly moving, and that's just part of geology. Is that the right science? You know, at least now we have good explanations. We know more or less some details about what's going to happen. And we can do certain things to prepare. Now, I have a question about this tsunami warning, and we're going to have hazard management come on Wednesday's show. They're scheduled to come on to talk about this. Now, I know that a number of you have said to me that there was a delay with hazard management and you expected a much quicker response. So when they come, we can certainly ask them what happened. I don't know. I can't answer that for them. I do know that as soon as it was felt, obviously I immediately got alerts because you guys are so fast. In fact, I got messages. I checked the earthquake app, and it wasn't even showing up in the earthquake app yet. But you guys were telling me, well, I just felt something, Sandy. Something was shaking. And I don't think it was just me. I wasn't dancing. I wasn't shaking myself. And I was like, oh my God. Another one? Child, I was sitting on my sofa watching one of those ridiculous Chinese movies on my phone that I'm so addicted to these days. I don't know what to do. They're all horrible. They all have the same timeline. And yet I enjoy watching them. I shouldn't say they're all horrible. Some of them are all right. So that's what I was doing. Gigi was on the floor watching a nice movie. Zeus was just sitting there relaxing. And then I started seeing all the notifications pop up on my phone. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? I'm like, feel what? I didn't feel anything. And then by the time the third person said it, because the first person, I was like, like I said, sometimes she gets vertigo. So I was like, that's probably your vertigo acting up again. But by the third person, I thought to myself, oh no, this is not vertigo. This is something else. That was an earthquake. But it's just bizarre how some people felt it so intensely and then others. One person said they were sitting on their sofa. They felt something, but they weren't sure. And then they went outside, looked at the pool and the pool water. And that's, if you guys have a pool, I don't have a pool here, but if you have a pool, that's normally a good sign because the pool water always seems to move, sway with the earth. So when they saw the pool water moving, they were like, oh, wow. Yeah. Well, we're all okay, thankfully. The tsunami warning was issued, and then a lot of people are asking me, well, what do we do in a tsunami? Where's higher ground? Where do we go? And I think the only advice I could give you, and not having experienced a tsunami, thankfully, I'm not speaking from any degree of expertise or personal experience here. This is just me thinking out loud, common sense. The only advice I could give you is just don't be by the water. Don't go to the beach because some people want to be nosy and see what's going on and how much wave action we're going to get. No, I wouldn't recommend that. This is not a time to play around, that's for sure. Stay far, far, far away. Other than that, other than being inland, I don't really know what else to expect. My gosh, if we had a tsunami that, remember poor Asia? What country was that? Was it Thailand that got hit some years ago? That's the only time that I actually saw the aftermath of what a tsunami could do. And that was devastating. It killed, my Lord, was it a couple 100,000 people? I don't know. It killed everything in its way. That was massive. I think that was, oh gosh, was it 2018? No, 2014? Somebody look that one up. I can't remember when that tsunami was, but that was devastating. And I don't think we've had anything like that in modern history that any of us would be able to relate to. That was, wow, hopefully one of a kind. So if you have access to second level, I suppose you could do that. You could go upstairs, but I don't honestly know what else you're supposed to do. Right? Somebody has an idea? Hold on. Let me grab the phone, honey chill. Give me 1 second. Put in my little headsets. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh, running behind here. All right. Let me make sure I got the right ear in the right ear. That's right ear. Okay, here we go. Don't worry, honey child. I'll call you back. We got toll-free calling now with Flo. Thanks, Flo. All right. So you go to the second level. If you don't have one, should you go in the attic? I'm not so sure. Hello? Oh, I can't hear anything. Hold on. I don't really know where you'd go. I think it's one of those things where...
Sorry, the number you are calling is...
Uh-oh, that one's unavailable. Let's try the next caller. So the experts will come on Wednesday and tell us maybe what we should do. There's a whole list of stuff on the tsunami. I think we shared the link in the article that we posted up. It's a good idea to read these things in advance of meeting it. I can tell you that, because there's no way you'd be able to figure it out. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Hi. What are we supposed to do? Sorry. Yes. You're live and direct. But what are we supposed to do during a tsunami? Do you know?
Yeah, sometimes it might be too late. I'll tell you exactly.
Oh, that's not much comfort.
What we should do right now.
Oh, okay.
If it is correct that the Cayman Islands is like a mushroom in the water, meaning that we have areas that it's like a stingray wings out in the water that could break off. Listen carefully. We, not just me, but a lot of people are saying we are absolutely putting too much weight on this island. It's a very small island, and who can you that will comprehend and say, well, yeah, we have to do something, or we have to have more tests, ecological tests, or whatever they need to do, and see exactly what's the position. You have countries like Australia, the bigger continent, in this little 2x4 island, they cannot pile enough concrete. Look weekly, the amount of ships that are coming in with concrete and all kind of heavy material. And then we talk about tsunami. I am not preaching doom and gloom, but the handwriting is on the wall, and we are too bright to understand what these tremors are about. We should take some warning and say, well, we need to do something to see how it works out. But now, I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't see I'm wrong. We are headed to doom and gloom, and nobody will listen. They will laugh at me. Well, go ahead and laugh. Those who laugh last, laugh best. That's my little piece of this morning, Sunday.
All right. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Somebody said we're not on radio. I'm not sure why we wouldn't be. So let me just play some music and see if somehow we got disconnected. According to my connection, I've been on for over 19 minutes. So give me 1 second. Let me try a little something and see if I can kick it in. Good morning. I don't think that worked. So I'm trying to get someone at the station to see what's going
Okay.
on.
Okay, then.
Yes. Yeah.
My prayer.
Yeah, I'm aware, but I only have so much control and no more, right?
Okay.
Yes. So all right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, my dear.
Okay, have a good one.
You're welcome. Yes, darling. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see if we can get connected. All right. Okay, I've sent them a message and we'll see what happens. All right. In the meantime, we will continue. Okay. All right. Good morning. All right. Okay. All right. I think they're getting All right. Okay. They're on it now, so right. Okay, let's see. Mr. Henry, good morning. How are you? I'm on air. I am? Where? Kim and Kind, Siobhan. Good morning, Siobhan. Hopefully you're feeling better. I saw that you were in the emergency room. Is everything okay? Not sure what happened. Okay. So they're saying they're getting no audio. How strange, because I'm here. Okay. All right. Okie dokie, Smokey. I'm not sure what's going on. It's just me and the audio looks good. All right, let me try something else. Let's see. Let me just try. Yep, that looks good. Hold on a second. Gonna just check everything on my end. Yep, that looks good. And over here, we have that looks good. Yeah, everything looks good. I don't know. No changes on my end. Says that I'm connected. Shall I disconnect and try again? All right. Very, very strange. Maybe the earthquake did something. Actually, there was an outage this weekend with one of the telecom companies, Logic. I wonder if that's impacted. I think they use Logic. So, all right. Okay. I'll try a disconnect. Maybe that will help. I'm not really sure. Because if I don't know what the problem is, I simply can't solve it. And so that's what it is. I have no clue. I doubt it's me. Okay. Shall we continue? Miss Emma, Debbie, good morning. All right. So Irvin also said she didn't feel any of them. Siobhan didn't feel any of them. Irvin, you were outside watering the plants. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why some people feel them and some don't. All right. Well, I guess the show will continue. So someone else asking a very, very pertinent question. Thank you, Sarah, for the reminder about that one. That was a big one, 7.7. And I think most people in Cayman felt that, unless you were driving. Apparently, there is something about when you're driving that you simply don't tend to feel them. And I don't really know all the logistics of it, but I guess you're in motion, the earthquake is in motion, and you tend to just not feel it. Yeah. So I don't know. A bit unusual, I would say, but yeah. Turn on loop back. Oh, so let me see. I'm gonna have to refresh this, I suspect. This has nothing to do with me. All right, hold on one second. Okay. Turn it on. Oh, strange. Okay, let's see. I think that might be it. Okay. Marshall. Thank you, Tracy. Being worked on. So Lavana said she was sitting in her bed and she felt it shake. Wow, really? My goodness. The whole bed. Huh. Jennifer, it's gonna be on here in a second. Phuket, that was where the last one was. That's Thailand, yes. 2010. Oh my gosh, that was shocking. I think probably the world's worst natural disaster, or any kind of disaster, really. Yeah. Okay, are we on radio now? Can you guys hear me? Are we good? Miss Aline said, good morning, CMR. I only learned about the earthquake in CMR and the tsunami when the all clear was lifted. Oh my gosh. So you didn't even know about it? Well, we do try, and I must say we even made international news this time, but we do try to, as soon as we have the details of a tsunami, we try to post that as quickly as possible, because somebody sent me some footage from the, what do you call it? The beach at the Westin. And there were people walking around outside. So I was like, that's interesting. And I reached out to the general manager, good old Jim. Thank you, Jim. And he said, yes, they had told them, you know, they were issuing notices to all guests. But of course, if they were outside walking around, I don't know. How do hotels, let me ask this question, because this is obviously a good question if you're in hospitality. You know, we have a lot of properties here. How do you notify your guests that something is happening like this, like get away from the water? So I don't even know how that would work. You know, we have the NEM system, but that's only if you signed up for it. Oh, why are we so blurry this morning? I told you guys before that with oh wow, we look really blurry. Hold on, let me see what's going on. With NEMS, what I find to be of particular interest is that you really don't get a My lighting's off this morning, in case you ever noticed. You don't really get a universal notification. All right, give me one quick second. I'm going to fix my overhead light, and then I think we'll be okay. 1 second, 1 second. Mm-hmm.
Time for Monday Rewind. The Cold Hard Truth's Monday Rewind show recaps the weekend's news and events so you don't miss a beat.
Don't miss out.
All the weekend's source, news, gossip, and well, it wouldn't be a weekend recap show without traffic accidents too. Cayman Marl Road is Cayman's #1 news source and has the island's hottest morning talk show.
It's the hottest.
Make sure you don't miss a beat with Monday Rewind.
Rewind.
Tune in every Monday from 7:30 a.m. on both YouTube and Facebook.
All right. I think we're good. Looking much better. All right. So listen, yes, I think that there's a lot of questions around this. Just trying to fix my camera just a toops. Give me 1 second here. I'm still a little bit off-centered. Let me chill. Let me get this sorted out. That's a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I have so many questions about this weekend. I can't wait until Wednesday when they come on. But remember I told you guys when I was in Tampa in August, they have, I was literally sitting at breakfast and all of a sudden, everybody's phone went off at the same time. And everybody was like looking at it. It was just a test alert. But I was there and I have, I guess I would have been, yeah, I would have had my eSIM on, my US eSIM, but I've never signed up for anything. And that's like a number from Miami, but it didn't matter. It was like a universal alert. Everyone on a mobile network got it. And so I thought that that was really great because, you know, that's how an emergency notification system should work. Now, I don't know if you were there and say you had on your Cayman number. I'm not sure how that would work. Would you still get a notification because you're still using like a local network? You're in roaming? I'm not sure. That's a good question. Does anybody know from living in the States? But, you know, they got to get to the point with this software, this innovation has to go a step further where you don't have to sign up for NEMS. Because a lot of you still haven't figured it out. And to be honest, the NEMS app was actually having some issues. I saw a number of you in the women's group complaining that you were getting, you know, error messages. So we're now on radio. Sorry, folks. We had a little bit of an issue this morning, but now we're all good. All good. All right. So yes, I mean, this is, you know, quite interesting. But at the end of the day, we can't keep practicing and not getting it right because the one time that we're going to need it, that's a problem. So Live Happy says, what if your phone's not on you? You got to have it somewhere in the vicinity. Dawn says, yes, you still get a notification. Thank you, Dawn. I'm very, very happy to know that. Melita says, when I was there in October, I was getting hurricane alerts on my Cayman number. So that's fantastic. Thank you for confirming. So you see what I mean? Whatever system they're using in America, at least in Florida, I think that we need to figure that out and hurry up and get that system in place as well. Because to me, that makes sense that we have everyone, even visitors. So someone's here visiting from overseas, they would likewise get the relevant notification. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Miss Sandy. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I just want to say thanks to Cayman Marl Road. I never know nothing about no earthquake, and I was in town. I be shaking all the time in the house, so I guess I wouldn't feel it. But you know how I found out about it? My son in Honduras called me from Cayman Mall Road. The agent down there and told me that it was an earthquake. I have an alarm. I mean, I have a government thing on my phone, but it does not alarm. Miss Danny Coleman had advertised like 2 years ago or something back. And I went to the government administration building, and the young man put it on for me, but it doesn't alarm. It only gives you the information after it has happened.
Well, so I tell you what,
thought it would alarm to notify you.
Yeah. I mean, I got the message, but I also did not hear. And I mean, I got my first message at, let me see here now, 6:45, saying that there was an earthquake incident, but it didn't, it just popped in as a regular message. So my phone is on silent. And I thought that even if your phone was on silent, it activated like an emergency thing where you heard this blaring. I didn't get that either. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think, that's a good thing to find out from Miss Coleman when she comes on, or if they come on, because the part with that many people, plenty of time people in the office and they got their phone on silent, and something happened, you don't know. So it should be an alarm, because sometimes I watching the news, CNN News, and their alarm come on and say this is just a 3 minutes something, or you know, to make the people know. So, but like I say, thanks to Cayman Mall Road. Yep, your agent was there, and after I got home like 8 o'clock, I looked on the phone. He said, look on the phone, because I found it from Cayman Mall Road. So I said, well, I don't know nothing here, nothing. So I never felt no quake, no shaking, nothing.
Yeah. All right, honey. Well, glad that we could, definitely glad that we could be of assistance. And listen, like I said, I'm using, it's not official, because, you know, they always tell you, tune into the official government sources. Well, I'm tuned into them, and I still didn't get it. But I tell you what I did do is, as soon as my Mall Road official sources told me, and you know how that work, 3 people shaking, we were onto something. That's all I can tell you. I was like, oh yeah, we were having something here. Let me tell you what time I was first notified. This was Saturday, 6:24. The first person called me. And in fact, I didn't even accept her call, because I was like, girl, you interrupted my Chinese movie. And then as soon as so that was at 6. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to call her. Didn't mean to call you, honey child. So that was at 6:24. And then I can tell you, immediately after that, let me just go back to my messages. 6:24. Yep. So as soon as she started sending that to me, as soon as she messaged, said, did you feel that? And I said, and somebody else was like, Sandy, did you feel that? So that was at 6:24. So, and I didn't get the first message from NEMS until 6:45 on my phone. Let's round it up, over 15 minutes. And in times of emergencies, I can tell you that 15 minutes matters. So we actually had it up and posted at about the same time that NEMS was finally sending something out. So there was a delay. There was definitely some sort of a delay. At 6:25, this person said to me, that's an earthquake. The building is still shaking. At 6:26, I replied, OMG, I didn't feel a thing. So that was like the second person. And by then I knew it was an earthquake. And I was like going on the earthquakes page. I was only delayed because even the earthquake site hadn't recorded it as yet. I couldn't find it. And so I was waiting to at least be able to get a screenshot to be able to post that up. So there was a delay. And I know some of you are in your different groups, and, you know, you were messaging and stuff like, you know, why haven't we heard anything from government? Now, listen, let me tell you how this would work, right? We're not an official government source. We're not GIS. We're certainly not hazard management. But when something like this happens, we would rather you know something is going on So even if we say, listen, we have received reports of an earthquake, right? You know that means those are mall road reports. Once hazard management issues something, then we will post that in addition to it. So I think most of you have kind of figured out how CMR works. Yeah, there are times that we don't have all the details, we don't have all the information, but we definitely know that something is going on, and so we will get on it, tell y'all, listen, this is what's happening, something's happening, and you know, that be on the alert for additional updates. So that's what it is, honey chill. Sarah says, I have a question. Do we have an island-wide siren to alert us if we were to get a tsunami? So all we have presently is this NEM system, and that's it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to, if you were going to do a siren, like a physical siren system of some sort, you'd have to have it, you know, at a location where everyone could hear it in different districts, I suppose. You'd have to have multiple ones because there's no way that you can hear. There would be no siren loud enough, I don't think, for you to hear it all the way from West Bay to North Side or East End. So yeah, I get the notifications, but I'm not getting any audio with it if my phone is on silent. And probably 97% of the time, my phone is always on silent. Because, child, I don't want to be accidentally going to court and it rings. Oh my God, that happened to me the other day. But the judge was very understanding because I'm very strict about it. It wasn't that it rang, but something on the phone started playing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Don't throw me in jail. Debbie says the only shaking I felt this weekend was caused by the Eagles. Oh, honey child, we're going to talk about that here in a second. We'll get to it, Debbie. Stay tuned. Gabby says I even had to ask Sandy if it was real news. Yeah. You guys are messaging me, asking me if what you felt was real. And I'm like, well, I didn't feel it, but I think so because other people felt it too. But because there was nothing from government for a minute, I don't know. Jim says, isn't the reason that we don't feel some of these earthquakes, especially the ones that are almost an 8, is because the plates rub back and forth instead of up and down, which is why we have less chance of a tsunami? I don't think so. I mean, I can't explain why one person can feel it and another person can't. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the type of structure you're in. I mean, I don't really know. I have never felt an earthquake at home. And I don't know if that has anything to do with this building, or I have no clue. I have felt them other places. Like I said, I wasn't at home when the big 7.7 hit back in 2020. But I'm telling you, my neighbors, 2 houses up the street felt it. And then other people in the neighborhood didn't feel it. So I don't know what explains individuals feeling it and not other individuals feeling it. All right. This person says, good morning, Sandy. I think your system needs to be like Florida because my phone gave me Amber Alerts when in Florida, but I pray we could get it right. Yes, there's room for improvement. Now, the interesting thing is we're going to talk about Parliament here in a little bit, but did you guys see the article that we posted last night where money was moved from one area of the budget to another area of the budget? And the area that is suffering, listen to this, is digital services strategy and business investment services budget. I don't know what they do, but that is innovation and economic development. What a mess. So we're moving money from innovation and economic development to give it to NAU clients. What a mess we're in. This person said I had my phone on silent and I had loads of alerts and it was loud even though my phone was on silent. Really? Well, I never heard any audio with mine. I wonder what kind of phone you have because I heard 0 audio. So I don't know. This person said, I got the alarm like 15 times. It kept going off. Oh, it's fair to say that maybe there's some inconsistencies in how it's working, because I got it. I got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 messages. So the first one, like I said, came in at 6:45 on Saturday. And, basically said 911 and HMCI are monitoring the activity. At that point, it said we were under tsunami threat. And it said residents living or near the coastline are encouraged to move inland. And then I got another message, which was basically almost a repeat. And then it said, except this one said, click on the link to view/respond. So I was like, okay, what am I responding to? And then another one came in about the tsunami warning again. Those seem to have almost come in. Looks like they came in simultaneously, like together, which is a bit weird. And then I got one at 9:35 saying that the all clear had been issued. So a little bit of confusion there. So this person says it alarms. It's a horn-like sound that won't stop until you acknowledge it. I don't get that. I got the text, but I did not get the audible that came with it, and nothing to stop. So I don't know. Yeah. All right. Kevin, you're here with us. I'm assuming you got some news for me. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandy. And good morning, K-Man. Just wanted to chime in a little bit on the emergency alert system, at least in the state of Florida, as well as the United States as a whole. As you know, in my previous life before returning back to Cayman, I was one of the people that was responsible for sending out those type of alerts for the state of Florida in my region. I was the public information officer assigned to the West Central Florida region. And so I worked with the emergency management to construct a message that would go out to the public. I also had a little bit of experience with it when I was working in fire rescue in Polk County, where we have something that is similar, which is called reverse 911, which would be able to send messages to a geographically targeted area. I'll give you an example when that was used. Was when I was dealing with a 500-acre wildfire in the Indian Lake Estates area of Polk County, which is in between, I guess, where you would get to the turnpike and you're going through Lake Wales. Large brush fire, and we had about 600 residential homes that was at risk of having serious consequences, and they had to be evacuated. And so, the only way to really reach them, and not instead of going door to door, is by doing that reverse 911, which cell phone systems have addresses and GIS data to say, okay, these cell phones are within this region, and so everyone in this region must get this audio message, and so that would be sent automatically to the cell phones, a recorded message that is sent to that geographic region. That is a little different. Reverse 911 works differently than the statewide or nationwide alert system. If I remember correctly, it was maybe about a decade ago, some legislation in America was passed, and it really allowed for telecoms to be able to break into people's phones with an alert, more or less. And so doesn't matter what country you're from, if you have a cell phone, and you're able to get these emergency alerts. And so that's how that works. Very few people actually have access to push the button to actually send that message. It's really limited to your emergency managers. People like me in my position was the ones that was responsible for crafting that short, concise message that would then go out. But the emergency manager on duty for that area would be the one to actually send it out. Similar to, they have one called presidential alerts as well too, and that was used. I forgot which president first used that one, but again, there was a message that went out with I think it was around COVID time, if I remember correctly. It was the very first time that one went out as well too.
Mm-hmm. So, very, very interesting. It does seem like the app has some problems. Risa says, I received multiple notifications, text, email, etc., but no alarm. I felt the earthquake in Newlands, but confirmed it from CMR. Very says alerts depend on the notification settings you opted for on sign up, and also notification settings on your phone. But for an emergency notification system, it should override all of that. So
yeah, the app that's available in Cayman, I personally believe that there are some issues with it. It would be interesting when hazard management comes on to do some explanation, because I know I have it. It actually worked because I also, when that came out, I was in the States still, and I used to receive when there were some testing and some notifications that was sent out prior. For this event, I actually only got text messages and emails. I did not get the audible alarm. However, I know a lot of my friends and family members did get the audible alarm, and I'm not quite sure because I did not change any settings on it. And I do know a lot of people were saying that, even though they might have gotten a notification, when they clicked on it to open to see what data was on there, it just spinned. It didn't show anything. So you don't know what you're being alerted about. It was kind of useless to them because yes, there's an alert, but what is the issue? We don't know.
And I saw some people in the women's group in Cayman saying that the app was giving them an error message, so it wasn't working like at all for them. Like they weren't getting,
Yeah, I just see one person say that it started to work when they deleted the app and reinstalled it, but it shouldn't. So this is my personal thing again, hazard management. I'm speaking as an individual, not for government or anything like that. Now that I work for government, I personally don't believe an app is probably the right way forward. It should be something works between off-reg as well as all of the telecom companies, similar to what is done in the States. I can't speak for Europe and other countries. I don't know what goes on there. I only know the system that I worked with, and it worked very, very well, and it was very effective when there's a hurricane warning, when there's any type of national emergency or even localized emergency. It could be targeted down, not nationwide or statewide. It could be a specific county or even a specific town within a county. You could, choose how widespread you need these alerts so they reach the people within that region. But I don't think people should be downloading an app in order to get an emergency alert message. That's not a great tool for disaster communication, which happens to be my greatest strength. That's usually all of the jobs that I have worked in, whether it was fire rescue or emergency management, public safety, when I was in public health, all of those jobs, even at the University of South Florida, was the only one that I didn't do disaster comms, but all of my experience has been in disaster communications. That's where my strength is in. So that's one of the things that I really think there's room for improvement, and I really hope. And these systems also not necessarily cheap. I understand there is some cost that goes with it, but it's something that I guess really seriously has to be looked at, because every single time we have some sort of national emergency, the communication challenges is always one of the things people are always talking about. I have seen over the last few years some improvement, that is for sure, but we still have a long way to go to be able to protect lives. We have been very, very lucky where we have not have a lot of lives lost because of information not getting out there in a timely manner, or even to people. Sometimes it does come out timely, but the channels being used to get to the widespread community where we have such a large different demographics that receive their information in different ways, that is definitely an area that needs to be improved. But again, I will say I have noticed a lot more efforts being made to be more timely. I will say some of the timing that hazard management did put out information, it was not that bad. It could, again, always room for improvement, but were you following the right channel to get the information was the next thing. And so that's where we need to figure out how better to, as soon as we have some information, we need to start putting it out there in all platforms, not just some that some people might be following.
How quickly in the US, if you had something like this happen, given your experience, would you have expected to receive the first alert?
So interestingly, it's pretty much immediately so when the earthquake happened, I do have an earthquake app that I have on my phone. And so I was notified very quickly after the quake, even though I personally didn't feel it. I was driving at the time the quake would have occurred. And so I personally didn't feel it, but I was notified. When I looked at the number, I was like, this is a significant earthquake. 8.0 is no joke. I mean, that if you look at most quakes around the world, I mean, and the ones that are very destructive, you could have a very destructive earthquake from in the 5 or 6. This is an 8. This is significant. But of course I didn't feel it. And I would have, unlike some of the smaller ones that we've had where we actually had physical damage in Cayman, we've had, some sinkholes open up and other issues that were some buildings that were needed to be assessed. I mean, we had some smaller quakes that caused damage in Cayman, and so I'm thinking to myself, whoa. And so I started to, go on the USGS site to start to get more data. I started to, in my app, I have the ability to kind of read through some of the very scientific language that's inside there, and started to look through some of that stuff. And I said, yeah. Shortly after, of course, we know it was downgraded to a 7.6, but either way, that's still pretty big. Extremely is a significant event.
Absolutely.
And then I did see on hazard management, or was it hazard management? I think it was government, one of the government channels. I don't remember which one. I did see something go out probably within the first 15 minutes. But to really answer the question that you had, was how soon do they go out in the States? Pretty much the way it is set up is from when I would have gotten that alert from the app that I have, it automatically sends something out. So somehow, and again, my role in Florida was on crafting that more tailored message when more information was starting to come out. I was not one who set it up or was not involved in some of the other behind the scenes, more technical aspects of it. But somehow I do know that the initial, let's say that when there's a hurricane warning or a hurricane watch or any type of emergency, as soon as it is issued, let's say a watch is issued by the National Weather Service, it immediately goes out. No one has to say, okay, it's National Weather Service has issued this watch, let me push this button. Somehow the computer systems are tied in where it automatically goes out. And that's how it, I think, should be, where as soon as GIS, United States Geological Survey, as well as I think there's another one for our region as well. Jamaica, I think, is one of the leaders in that. Once that is issued, it should automatically go out to send a notification without anyone having to craft a message and stuff. That's the way I would envision it should be for Cayman.
So this was the error message that some people are getting with the app. So the app wasn't working for them at all. And then they had to uninstall it and reinstall it. And even up to yesterday, some people said even though they did that, they were still getting this error message. So clearly there seems to be some issues for some people with the app. And I don't know exactly, what the issue is. Thomas says an app shouldn't be used to send emergency alerts because the app is not compatible with every phone. Off-reg, government, digital flow, etc., need to work together. To find a solution.
And I completely agree. This should be something, and I think it's a very high priority that these agencies all need to work together on a solution. It's the same exact type of system, which of course a lot of people are not watching their traditional television anymore, but these systems are all actually speak together. So sometimes you might be watching television or even listening to the radio, where you have this is a test of the emergency broadcast system, and it has beep beep, all these little tests. Those are required. I forgot the frequency again. I've kind of moved on from that life when I moved back, so I don't remember all of the details. But that has to be actually tested. It might be monthly. Where they just do a quick
they have requirements. But what is so interesting is just the other day, someone sent me a screenshot of President Trump he's canceling a lot of things. And one of the things that would be impacted is in relation to hurricanes, to the point where the National Hurricane Center is going to lose the ability to communicate with other countries and their respective agencies. So, you're saying the system works so well in the US with all of the cuts that we see happening there, and, government workers and departments who offer essential emergency services and really important services now being told that they're going to have their budget cuts or they're going to have staff cuts. It'll be interesting to see over the next 4 years how natural disasters will work in the US and if any of those systems will actually be impacted, because, it takes innovation, it takes money, it takes resources. And in my mind, you can't cut it from certain essential things. But from the looks of it, it does appear that that is very much happening. So NOAA employees have been ordered to pause all international engagements and cease any communication with foreign nationals. So the National Hurricane Center will no longer be able to coordinate storm tracking with other countries. That's like a big deal. But anyway, that's, in the political realm, but it impacts us like in a real way, potentially. We'll have to just wait and see. So Duke says we need an island-wide siren system. This was talked about 4 years ago when fire broke out at the Seoul Esso terminals, the tanks there on South Church Street. But again, nothing I don't think has been done in relation to that. There's been no
with
forward
that one.
movement.
I personally, again, this is just me speaking.
Yeah.
From my own personal views, I don't think that is the best tool or that's needed. Typically, the siren type of alert system are those that are in that tornado alley, and that's usually for letting people know tornadoes out there. But even in those areas, that has been proven to not be the most effective things, because there's a lot of technical things that goes with it. It's extremely pricey to have, and so that system for Cayman to have something like a tsunami, I mean, our risk is what it would be considered very low. There's not a no risk that we do have the ability to have them, but I mean, in our lifetime, we have not, over the last 100 years, if you look at the last century, how many times have we been under such an alert? So it's not something that is going to really warrant even financially to have something like that. But at the same time, we do need to have several tools, not one, because you don't put all of your eggs in one basket. You have to have several ways to be able to reach people in case one thing breaks, because technology will always break, especially when you need it. We have to have multiple ways in order to get mass communication out to everyone in any type of significant event that occurs.
All right, folks, we've got lots of people listening, about close to 500 people on the live stream this morning, and of course, tons more on radio. Kevin popped on to join us. He's always so helpful in that regard, because again, he's got the relevant experience when it comes to emergency communications, which is a whole, sort of subspecialty unto itself. And I'm glad, Kev, that you have decided to join us this morning and lend, again, your personal opinion, but also your opinion in regards to, ways that we can make some improvements, because this is a dialogue, quite frankly, that we need to be having.
Yep.
Right. So 9362626, if you have any questions or comments. This person says, ensure your app is not offload due to not being used. iPhones tend to do that.
Yeah, so iPhone, I forget when it was, but a while ago, if you don't open or interact with an app for a certain period of time, it automatically, especially when you have your phone is filled and it's running out of capacity, it kind of puts it into, it's still on your phone, but it kind of puts it in an active part of your phone to save space. But
I mean, I got the messages, I just didn't get the audible alert. But let me check and see. What's the app called? Hoc. So it says it's used to, now I'm getting a message, allow it to use your location change to always allow. So, okay. I don't know. That's all it said. And then it says select organization. So weird. So it says that you're connected to the Cayman Islands public, and then it has another one for the Cayman Islands enterprise. I don't know what that says, but that says ended. And then, okay. But is this app what is sending it to my text messaging, or is that separate?
I don't know how the app is really structured and built. I know it's not the most user-friendly app. I'm not a big fan of it, but
yeah.
Yeah,
because
I
if
really
that's
don't know.
the case, I mean, I was referring, I got text messages, but
yeah, I got text messages and I got emails. I got the same thing. I'm just opening it up and that same error message that a lot of people are getting.
Okay, this is weird because I got the all clear message February the 8th at 9:29, but there are no other messages in the app. It only says I have one message, and that's the all clear message. So I didn't get anything else.
Yeah, the app definitely needs to be looked at, or if it's just not fit for purpose, we might need to consider something different. But again, those at Hazard Management, I'm sure they're getting a lot of the complaints, and they're getting a lot of the feedback, and I encourage people to make sure that they voice the feedback to them so something can be done for future times. Because again, we have been extremely lucky over the past few years. But we're not always going to be lucky. There are going to be days that, a time when we're going to have to deal with some sort of event, and the communication is extremely important, and we got to get it right from now, so it works when we need it.
All right. Someone says that when you opt in for the NENS platform, you can choose how to receive notifications: app, SMS, email, and you can choose what methods you want. So does that mean that the text message doesn't give you maybe that's what doesn't give you the audible?
No, because when I was in the States, when they were doing testing, as well as when it has gone off for other past things, hurricanes, they have sent it out when we went underneath hurricane watches and warnings in the past. I did get it. I got the alert with the audible sound. I did get the email, and I did get the text message. All three of them, because I signed up for all methods. So I can't say why it didn't work for this event, because it has in the past. This event did not work.
Because I kind of remember getting an audio before. It's been a while now that I'm thinking about it, but you almost don't, it doesn't happen enough for you to really remember, almost like, when was the last time I got? So that's weird. We didn't get anything for the evening before that earthquake. So I'm guessing, what's the threshold for when we would actually get an alert?
Yeah, good questions. When Hazard Management comes on, these are all very, very good questions. I also think a good question would be, and I remember this takes me back to when I was working at Cayman 27. This is a while ago, that some of the sensors, again, for tsunami threats was installed. I think there were 3 of them, but then when I read back an article, it looks like there might be 4 that might have been installed. The first one, I think, was in Frank Sound, and then there were some others. Cayman and Little Cayman is supposed to have a monitor, and then there's 2 on Grand Cayman, and that really determines the sea level rise. It's sea level rise monitoring. But then when I went to look at any activity on it, it said something like no data has been collected or is outdated. So there's nothing to be found, unfortunately. Wow. So I don't know, and I don't know where, if that's still being monitored or serviced. I have no clue why I can't see that data, or if the data is just not available publicly online and it's only available for emergency managers or people in the background. I really don't know what that is, but that would be a very important tool to have in case we do have a normal rise in the sea level for something like a tsunami. And there's one thing, I saw this going around on social media a whole lot. where people were talking about, okay, well, one wave comes in and then I don't need to worry about it. And people need some tsunami education on how tsunamis work. It's just not one wave. It's a multiple different waves that could come in if we had one. And they could be 5 minutes apart. They could be much longer apart. And also the first wave is not necessarily the largest wave. If we were to have one. So I also do believe that some more. And I know hazard management has done some of these when they have awareness days. They have done it in the past, but I think it's something that needs
just
to be
regular
done.
messaging would be good. Shaka Zulu says, once again, I have to agree with Kevin. The siren system might not be the best answer to alerts. Mandatory phone alerts would possibly work best. We have, thank you, Shaka, for that comment. Liana said, blessed good morning. The earthquake was our warning to get our ish together about the election and this port. Sarah says, so it's okay that the government can find $60 million to build a school, but it's too expensive to fund a siren system to warn and protect the people of the Cayman Islands. Shaking my head. Hashtag. Good morning, Aliano. He says, we are shaking and baking. Victor Lukloy, good morning, sir. He says, this is why we need educated, sensible politicians, people who can determine the real needs of their constituents. Dee says, why would we be surprised of the want to cancel any sort of notification pertaining to natural disasters? They have boastfully shown us that they have a machine that can generate hurricane winds. So why would they want us to have the ability to prepare and protect ourselves and families? I think you're being facetious about the machine part. But yes, I mean, governments matter. And I have to agree with Mr. Lukloy, is we get the government that we deserve in the sense that we, the people, are voting them in. And I tell you what, it's very, very, important that we elect people who have good sense and how to do these sorts of things. So ad hoc needed to be reopened. Francois said that he received them by email. Liana says, I never got an alert until 9 p.m. So hazard management needs to get their act together. And Tony says the NOAA, when it comes to things like research related things, disease, weather, injury studies, smaller islands typically don't have the population size or resources to support their own system. He said it's important. And NOAA has more planes than Cayman Airways, and that isn't factoring other equipment needed. And we do rely on these agencies, as to Tony's point, as a small island nation, we do rely on these other countries sometimes to provide us with information. I mean, we see how many times our weather satellite for ourselves is down. And Kevin, I remember you having access. I guess you no longer have that access, but you had access to this weather.
I still do.
You still do?
Yeah, well, but when I was leaving that role as the regional coordinator for public information officers for West Central Florida, I had specifically asked if I could keep it. And they did agree, so I do have access to that part
Trump,
of it.
they might change that now, honey child. But no, it was fantastic because it was very detailed, had lots of information. And I know that you set up the Caymans in Florida group, Kevin, and anytime there's something major going on, a hurricane that is, you're able to send out all that detailed information in, amazing time. So those are the types of resources, folks, that we really, really need. All right, Kev, thank you so much.
Right before I leave as well, because I do need to get back to a project that I'm working on. I will say the system, I can't speak for all of the USA, but I do know the system, the emergency managers. His name is Kevin as well, Kevin Guthrie, in the state of Florida. He's the king of emergency management over there. I will say they do an amazing job at the disaster comms, and they realize and recognize the importance of it. And so they do train people like me very, very well. We go through a lot of different trainings and scenarios to ensure that in the time of disasters, and Florida gets a lot of different things. We got tornado threats, we have hurricanes, we have a lot red tide and other things where we have a lot of environmental impact. There's so many different things that goes on there, and they do a very good job at ensuring that our skills are up to speed, so we could then serve the public very well. There's not a whole lot of complaints in the state that I know of that comes in saying that they're lacking information when it comes to major incidents. That's one area that I could say. There's other areas that I would say that needs a lot of massage and a lot of work, but that's one area that the state of Florida is doing a really, really good job at. And I was really, really blessed to be able to spend almost a decade of my life over there, learning a lot of the things that I would have never learned here in Cayman. So I was very, very thankful for that opportunity. And now that I'm back home, I'm more than happy to give my contributions, especially when it comes to an area that I consider myself a subject matter expert on.
Absolutely. And Kevin, we appreciate it because, there's no one else in Cayman that probably has your level of experience, to be fair. And so I think that that's great. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, have a beautiful day, especially as you go into politics. Bye.
Exactly. Take care, Kevin.
Take care.
The funny thing is, life is so interesting. When I was in Miami, end of January, I actually where my mailbox is in Doral, I was in there and there was a lady there that had this beautiful kind of curly hairstyle, and she was with a young man who I presume to be her husband. They were picking up some packages, and I heard her accent, and I said, "Oh, which island are you from?" Because sometimes Bahamas and Barbados, like I'm hearing it, but it's similar in a way. And so she said, "Oh, I'm from the Bahamas," and she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, the Cayman Islands." And, because Islanders, we always, say hello. And then she was saying to me that they have some company that has provided emergency support services for Cayman in the past. And so they know like some of our government officials and some of the people on the civil service side. So I thought it was very, very interesting. But they hadn't done anything recently. And I think that's because the regiment has been in place and the regiment has picked up some of those services. But she was saying that they were going to reach out again to government. And I thought, that's interesting. What are the chances? They're like, "Oh, yes, we're very familiar with the Cayman Islands, and we've worked with their hazard management in the past and storm prep and different little things as an emergency happens." Island Pearl says that people are encouraged to move further inland, but move to where? And how are these safe hubs or checkpoints that are identified for people to go to? Well, there aren't any. I mean, as far as I know, they just tell you to stay home. Sarah says that in 1946 in El Cibao, Dominican Republic, they had an 8.1 earthquake and a tsunami hit, and 75 people died and 20,000 people were left homeless. Wow. This is another reason why I don't want no beachfront property, honey chill. Sorry, but not sorry. You can keep it. Morning, Miss Joyce Ann. Miss Marjorie says, "Thanks to Renwick Conley, who told me on Facebook. Glad I did not feel it." All right. So yes, what a mess. Okay. Like I said, they're coming on Wednesday to have the discussion with us. I think they were trying to come on today, but they said they were busy. And someone just sent me someone being very cheeky this morning said, "Sandy, I don't know why they're not on with you, because I can't with y'all. Y'all are so naughty." Let me show you the screenshot that someone just sent me this morning. Hold on one second. Let me grab it. So someone said this along with this screenshot. Hold on, honey child. They said they should be on CMR instead. A total of 487 people, but we have 264 on Facebook, my apologies, on YouTube, and they have 45 people watching them at Radio Cayman. What a mess. They'll be here Wednesday. Hopefully nothing further until then. Hopefully no more tsunami alerts between now and Wednesday. All right, honey child. And a lot of you saw this comment. This was, I think, on hazard management. The leader of her country, Juliana Connolly, she posted something that said prayers. And my response to her was, can we stop the BRAC school? This is a warning from God. Please listen. I was being a bit tongue in cheek, but kind of not at the same time. I'm like, can you not build that BRAC school? We're going to need those emergency funds, honey child. I'm just saying. Anywho, I doubt she's going to listen to us or to me or to anybody else. All right, let's switch gears to politics, shall we? Everybody ready for this one? Get your second cup of coffee. I'm still in my first cup of tea, honey child. I have to go to physio after the show because, I had COVID and I recovered pretty quickly, I must say. Thank you. But I got to pickleballing. I did a little bit on Friday because, I got a bum knee. My left knee is I have to brace it up when I play. And I was okay. I played a little bit on Friday to kind of get back into it. And then yesterday I got out there and I played hard, honey child, trying a new serve. My friend Joe showed me how to do a different serve it takes its technique, So I was doing that. And of course I had my brace on, but behind the knee is feeling like I've got a muscle in there that is just tight. I can feel the tension. And so I'm limping when I walk. So I need to go and have somebody get in there and release it somehow. So I don't know what the physiotherapist is going to do for me, but hopefully they can maybe just rub it out or something. I don't know. Some kind of therapy. I feel like I might have to book an acupuncture appointment soon to kind of get this going, but I'm not allowing it to, stop me. I'm going to still keep going, just a little bit slower. Miss Carrie says, morning, Sandy. We're here talking about a tsunami risk. Where is the old BRAC High School located? The old one, like the current one? I don't know. Is it on the main road? There's not a lot of roads in Kim and BRAC. Is it on the waterfront? I don't know. So this person says, did anyone say how the hell they're going to get inland, or where is the land and higher land located? Nope. I don't know what inland means. Cayman, the width of how wide is Cayman? Like, it depends on what kind of tsunami we're talking about. If it's a big one, like the big one, none of us have anywhere to go. We ain't got no mountains to climb up on. That's when you just say your prayers, honey child. I don't know how far inland. Where's the highest point for us? Is it East End? But you're not gonna have time to probably drive to East End. We have a lot of questions. And then the thing about East End, I feel like East End maybe it's the highest point, but I feel like it's more narrow, like this way. So Georgetown is the widest part of the island. But no place is that wide as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know. The trash heap. Somebody said Mount Trashmore. We must run and go sit on top of the dump. Oh my God. That's funny. It is actually the highest point. You're right. The point that DART has remediated, is that safe to go stand on, but we don't have access to that. So I have no clue. Someone says the current BRAC High School is located a few feet from the water. Still doesn't justify building a $50 million school for a shrinking population. And I'm going to correct you. It's more like $100 million school. The price tag was up to 65. Then I've just told you what the $10,000 that was added because of the issue with the foundation. So 65 plus 10, Class A, that's 75. And it has not even started. The foundation is not even down yet, and you're already over budget. So when I say 100,000, I ain't joking. Mark my word. I'm not trying to put my goat mouth in a situation, but to me, this is just common sense, which apparently for government officials is not so common. Good morning, caller.
Morning. So
morning.
I had to call about the whole BRAC school thing. Nobody's saying that they might not necessarily need a new school, right?
Yeah.
Because the school is old, the location isn't great, etc. What we're saying is it doesn't need to be that expensive, and there are more important things that need to be done. Where's the hospital? The hospital isn't far from the sea either. And every time they have a hurricane, the people from the rest home, which is the old person's home, and the hospital have to be all transported up on the bluff to a hurricane shelter and then transported back down. So if we want to talk about that, then we need to talk about what's more important that could have been, that money could have been used for. And then in due time, you build the school.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're all with you. It's just that unfortunately the BRAC MPs are not listening.
Well,
I don't know.
April soon come.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you so much, caller. All righty. Marshall says go to higher grounds in terms of the tsunami, but we're asking where would that be exactly? If it's someplace like East End or even Miss Marjorie saying Dart parking lot, the traffic to be able to get there. Remember the traffic grid we had during the 2020 earthquake? That was in the middle, I think it was early afternoon. I was in a business meeting there in Walker's Road, and I remember precisely when it happened. And so, I was kind of like, I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't make any sense to get in this gridlock. Not only did we have a physical gridlock of vehicles, but we also had a actual telecom gridlock. So a lot of people are trying to call and they could not get through on the phone lines. So that's another issue that I think we should really contemplate. I don't know. Carrie says, Sandy, the budget is an issue, but the need for a new high school is legit. If the old one is at sea level, it's a high risk. Well, high risk, but the risk of a tsunami is actually a significant tsunami, I should say, is a very low risk event. So you take a low risk event being triggered, then it becomes a high risk. But the chances of that to begin with is not impossible, but extremely low risk. So everything, Carrie, comes with a degree of risk and uncertainty, and you've got a plan based on probabilities. And I can tell you the probability element is extremely low. Wi-Fi says, will Dan Scott's party be featured on your platform? You have to ask them. That's a question for them, because as Tony says, it is pay to play season. And we've made that very, very clear. So they can be featured if they would like to. They've actually expressed that they're interested in doing some advertising. They've not signed anything, but in fact that they don't want to come on the show. So I can't force people who don't want to come on the show to come on the show. I mean, that's what they said. They don't want to come on the show. Because evidently I roll my eyes at people. I'm a little bit too tough. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, they don't want to come on the show. Politics. Let's talk about it. April 30th. The election is right around the corner. And that means, let me tell you the countdown time. We got it up on the website. 79 days, 14 hours, 54 seconds, and 35 seconds until Election Day. We got some decisions to make. And so over the weekend, there were quite a few things, not over the weekend, my apologies. Last week with Parliament, there's quite a few things that happened. We're not going to be able to get through all of it today, but one of the things that was so obvious to everyone is that there is a new bromance happening between Kenneth Bryan and the progressives. So this was interesting. Hold on, let me get y'all the evidence now. Let me get y'all the video clips. Okay. Well, we do know that Deputy Premier Bryan has been courting the progressives for, I would say, a while now, good couple months for sure. And so he shows up on, different radio platforms and he says, well, he's more aligned with the progressives than any other party that he sees out there. And that's just the writing on the wall that we're going to work together. I mean, I don't know how more obvious you can get than when you say something like that. And so he was praising, it's so interesting given their history, but he was praising Sir Alden, sweetening him up. He was praising leader of the opposition, Joey, and then Joey was praising him. It was a bromance like I've never seen in Parliament before. Very, very interesting. Everybody had sweet mouth all of a sudden. This is when you know it's political season. Oh my God, this was next level. You had Chris Saunders singing the praises of Juliana O'Connor Conley, about, oh, you shouldn't retire, you should run again. Well, here's the thing. He's saying that as though the woman's actually retiring. She said she's retiring, but I don't believe that for 1 minute. We're going to have to wait until nomination day. And when she doesn't run, that's when I'm going to believe it. Until then, I don't believe it. And I have good reasons why I don't believe it. I can't give you all those details. But let me just say that I have very good reasons why I do not believe it. She's going to wake up nomination day and go and get signed up and say that the good Lord she had a dream last night, and the good Lord came to her in a dream and told her Cayman Brack still needs to be saved. And y'all need that Brack school for $100 million, regardless of what you think or what you say. All right? So that's going to happen. Like I said, prove me wrong come nomination day, but not believing it. So let me show you some of the bromancing that actually occurred. Here's Joey inviting Kenneth to join the party.
Mr. Speaker, I also want to take a moment to speak about the Deputy Premier.
Hi.
I just want to say to him that it has not gone unnoticed. The tremendous maturity and the loyalty he has displayed in his commitment to his government, but most importantly, to the people he served over the past couple of years. As tumultuous and challenging the political landscape has been, the Honorable Deputy Premier has shown a steadfast dedication to his principles, and that's with the LES, and to the welfare of his constituents. Many may criticize his style, and I see many are taking aim at him. In fact, it seems many of the new groups have made it their goal to remove him from office because his unwavering commitment to his people, but especially those who he can identify with, those who need a voice, those who are often written off by our society. We heard the Honorable Deputy Premier's story on Wednesday during his winding up on the referendum debate. We heard of the role, Mr. Speaker, that you played in that story. Well, Mr. Speaker, let me say today that I hope that his story will continue to be written. And let me also say, if he wishes, we in the PPM would be happy to be a part of that next chapter.
Wow. Okay. So this is interesting. Okay then. I'm a little bit confused by this because one of the things he says is that people are taking aim at Kenneth to remove him from, did he say office or the position of power? Hold on.
Steadfast dedication to his principles.
Let me see. What did he say exactly?
And that's with the LES and to the welfare of his constituents. Many may criticize his style.
And
I see many are taking aim at him. In fact, it seems many of the new groups have made it their goal to remove him from office.
To remove him from office? I don't understand what he means by that when he says they made it their goal. How have they made it their goal? Because they're running Carmen against him? I mean, you're supposed to have someone run against you. I don't think anybody should feel comfortable enough in their seat where they don't have an opponent, including Joey. Who's going to be running against Joey? Everybody should have at least one opponent. I mean, I think that we should only have two against, like the strongest against, two, instead of y'all running 5, 6, 7, 12, 11 team in one constituency. It is very, very confusing what's happening here. And the only way to explain this is that Kenneth will be joining the PPM. He will be aligning with them in one way or another. Marshall says, didn't the PPM run Kenneth out previously? Yes. Not just run him out, but Alden McLaughlin, as we recall, had Kenneth Bryan as his political assistant and fired him from the job. And I must tell you that I don't agree with how Alden did that at the time, because what the reasoning he used to fire Kenneth was nonsensical. It made no sense. He claims that it was the case, which in the end, he had nothing put on his record, but he claims that it was the case, but he didn't do it at the very beginning, right? He didn't do it when he got arrested and whatever. He waited. And you know what it really was? Because Kenneth had a lot of time on his hands and he was making some inroads into Georgetown Central politically, more so than the premier that he was working for. And it was getting back to the premier that, Kenneth making you look bad, bro, out in these streets. And so he used that as an excuse late in the game. Instead of waiting until his trial was over and what the outcome was, he decided to terminate him. Kenneth knows the truth, and I know the truth. So to see them now have this bromance going on, I must tell you, it is very, very interesting. It's just weird. So anyway, Kenneth then responds with the following.
And I am so elated to hear from the leader of opposition and his kind words to me, offering me an opportunity to be a part of the progressives. I thank him because it takes a level of respect for one another to publicly say that without even knowing whether I would accept. And he's put himself out there on a limb too.
Well, let me say this now. I think that conversations have been happening. And I think Kenneth knows very well that he's not putting himself out on a limb. Y'all been sitting down over, well, you're probably not drinking English tea. Kevin, what's his name? Sorry. Kenneth is sitting down with his Pepsi in one hand. And Joey's sitting down with, what does Joey drink? Rum and Coke? Is he a rum and Coke kind of guy? I don't know what he's drinking. But whatever he's drinking, the two of them have already hashed this out. And so this is just for the public perception. I'm not buying it, Kenneth. I'm not buying it, Joey. You've already had behind door conversations, and you know very well that Kenneth has agreed to run with you and form some sort of an alliance. All right, so let's continue.
Asked to be a partner with the progressives. And I thank him because it tells me what he values about me and where I've come to. And I just want to say that I will definitely be speaking to my people about that because I am no fool.
Oh.
The country wants stability. They don't want to go through a lot of the chaos.
So my question is, how will he be speaking to his people? How will this poll be taken? Are you going to go door to door in Georgetown Central? Are we going to have a referendum in Georgetown Central? Well, I guess it'd be too late by then. So how is the poll going to be done? How are you going to know what your people want you to do? Not just your committee, but I think you need to speak to the broader audience of who your voters are. And PPM really should do the same thing at their make it transparent, do the same thing at their event. Miss Charlene says, once you're born a PPM, you're always a PPM. Yes, sir. What a heat. So I think that we can honestly expect to see that alliance. That's not going to be any surprise for us. We'll take the air out of their bubble. Nothing surprising there. And I guess we'll have to wait and see when we get the official announcement. But I got y'all. I'm telling you already, this is a done deal. Okay. So we had a record number. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not that old. Have we ever had 6 people at one time resign from Parliament? This is a record. I have my doubts about one of the 6. However, that's an impressive number. Now, the first thing that came to my mind, correct me if I'm wrong here. I mean, you guys might have thought about this yourself, but certainly the first thing that came to my mind is, wow, we have basically 32% of those elected resigning from public office. Remember back in 2020, I told you guys that the government had arranged for MPs to get this severance package for themselves. Remember back in January the 5th, 2021, my apologies, January the 5th, 2021. I'll share the link in case you missed that show. And we talked about how the then PPM government actually changed the, I think it was a Legislative Assembly Management Bill, which now I guess would be Parliament Management Bill, the equivalent to that. We talked about MP salaries and allowances. So the other day when you guys found out how much extra money the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly gets, and y'all were acting all surprised, I'm like, why are y'all surprised? We covered this back in 2021. We had a whole show on it. We talked about it. You saw all of the additional concessions that she gets. We also looked at the fact that they were going to now give themselves 3-month severance, and they all voted in favor of it at the time, that they were going to give themselves 3-month severance when they leave political office, whether they get voted out, whether they retire, or whatever means they leave. I wonder if they die in office, do they still get it? Well, technically they're dead, so no. That would be the only way that they wouldn't get it. So they get a 3-month full salary severance package. And I was saying to you guys, this is a bit unfair, if you ask me, because the support staff that works for them, right? So say, for example, Kenneth doesn't get in. The young lady that works in his office, I forget her name now. He has Mr. Oh gosh, what's his little guy's name there? Oh God, I can't remember his name. What's his nickname? I can't remember the nickname now. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? His political analyst, like he's the person, he chooses him. All of those people are out of a job. They don't get a 3-month severance package. They don't get nothing. Election day, their contract ends if their person isn't elected back to public office. So it's weird that they felt entitled to 3 months, plus they're getting pension after 2 consecutive terms. It's just absolutely crazy, if you ask me. All right, Marshall says, trust and believe conversations began before the speeches on here, definitely. The Zoe says, all I'm hearing is a lot of back scratching. Boy, KB didn't know you was into that. It's politics. I mean, he's thinking strategically about what's going to happen in the next election. There's a lot of people who say, well, can you blame Kenneth? I mean, if he wants to get back in, naturally, he's not going to want to be a backbencher. Once you've had a taste of a ministry and deputy premier, you're going to want that position. So the streets are talking, and the streets have said that the deal that will be, someone said it's 2 months. I thought it was 3 months. Okay. Well, still 2 months is still good. So someone said the deal that has been brokered is he will become deputy leader of the opposition. And that's like, whoa, did he ever resign from PPM? I have so many questions for Kenneth. Kenneth, if you're listening to the show, we got questions for you. So Island Pearl says, I've heard Kenneth send polls to his constituents all the time, asking their input of different matters. He has some group for them or something like that. Not sure if this is facts. Carrie says, I am PPM. Sandy is P for P. What on earth is P for P? The people? I'm for the people? I don't know what P for P stands for, but anyway. Why doesn't he team up with TCCP, not PPM? Maybe TCCP won't have him. That's a possibility. I mean, you can't team up with people who don't want you. Voyager says Kenneth is hedging his bets. He would work with whomever to get back a ministerial seat. Kenneth needs to understand that he's only being tolerated by the PPM. They have a bigger plan and means to an end he is. And I must say that I agree with you. The bromance is not going to last for long because like any romance, if it's not based on mutual respect and understanding, it ain't going to last for long. So we're going to see how that's going to work. Anthony says, but to be honest, Sandy, the incumbents are looking more attractive now since the mass retirements. If we could only get Chris and John out now and replace those spots, but all those Johnny come latelys not going to get my vote. No one knows them. No community involvement. Well, even if they're involved in the community, nobody knows them. I think Anthony is a fair and honest point. And you think they'd be out here in the streets working overtime for you to get to know them. And unfortunately, too many of them are behind closed doors doing strategic planning. And I don't know what that means, because if people aren't seeing the fruit of that, you might as well not even. So, yeah. So, they've had a very tumultuous relationship over the time. Alden has talked down to him in more ways than one. They were shocked when he won his seat in 2017 by a narrow margin, but a win is a win, honey child. Natasha says they're running to represent the people of Cayman, but are scared to get on the platform that has one of the largest media audience. Well, not one of the largest media audience in Cayman. Representative of the voting population. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know if I was running, I'd be on here every day. I'd be like, where the people them at? Here I am. Let's talk about who's not running. I was surprised to hear Bernie Bush was not running. Do we have a clip for that one? Let me see if we got a clip. So Bernie Bush announced his. That was the only one that surprised me, sort of. And, everybody else. David finally out. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. We still were trying to figure out the other day what he has done. Can't figure out anything really that he's accomplished in his 2 terms in office. Barbara confirmed that she is out. Juliana O'Connor Connolly saying that she's out. Moses Kirkernel, he's out, but he's sitting there talking about he supports the BRAC school. Good luck, Mr. Moses. Enjoy your retirement. John, clueless as ever. I don't think we have the video clip of Bernie announcing that he's out. But anyway, he is out. But the interesting thing I find about Bernie Bush is there are allegations afoot that he intends to run his daughter in his slot. Bernie, don't come with that. I'm sure, what's her name? Shanika, something. I'm sure she's a nice young lady and everything, but no. You guys have got to stop this. It's not a position for life. You're not a king that is ordained by God, so that when you come out, you're going to tell we the people who's going to be the next representative. Bringing in your nieces, your nephews, your children, your BFF. That's not how this works. When you get out of politics, just keep moving. We don't want to hear anything more from you. We don't want you to come like you some special designated individual. Oh, I've got my replacement right here for you. Really? Y'all need to go sit down. Barbara, they all blaming CMR about why they're not running. Oh, we're too hard, and CMR could come after me. Well, if you not had nothing to come after, you wouldn't have to worry about that. If you had done something in the 8 years that you've been there, you would not have to worry about that. Like in all seriousness, right? The party comes out and introduces people. Even their party members, talking about the progressives now, is a little bit confused. They've introduced Festa. So, Barbara took him around and said, hey, this is Festa. You're a PPM member. You need to vote for him. And PPM members are like, say what? I ain't voting for him because I don't know him. He hasn't done anything in the community. Where has he been? There has been zero succession planning when it comes to these parties, which I want y'all to pay attention to. I'm working on an editorial piece on this, but this simply demonstrates to the people that these parties are not serious themselves. Y'all are just retiring on a whim? You mean to tell me that Parliament was last week? We've heard for a number of months now that David was supposed to be out. Then we saw them move Festa over to Barbara's spot and that David was being encouraged to continue to run. Well, he said he's had enough. He's gonna not, run anymore. That's it. All right, fine. But I'm confused about how you do that. And the Progressives does not even have his replacement in places yet. They don't even know, oh yeah, we got something coming. Okay. They don't even know who they're putting in there. This party, despite them being the only party that is up to this point been organized for 20 years now, I'm still confused by their lack of succession. They should have a youth arm to their party. This is where you get in now and you train from the grounds up, right? And you get the relevant experience in the community, in party politics. They send you off to course so that you learn different things about public administration, all this kind of stuff. If they honestly cared about the people of the Cayman Islands, that would be the methodology that we would see, not the other way around. Okay, so Carrie says they don't want to pay for play on a media and that entity that bashes them if they do not pay. Okay. Not everyone is built as blind to how close that looks to extortion. Wow. What a mess y'all in. Carrie, you're completely clueless. I am so fortunate that when it comes to politics, because politicians and the government don't make up the bulk of my money in any way, shape, or form. And I can afford to say no to them when they come with their antics and their tricks. And I can assure you that has nothing to do with why they haven't paid to play. I'm not going to put too much of their business out there. But anybody who wants to see the proof, believe me, I've got the proof about what's going on here. And it ain't got nothing to do with nobody bashing nobody. Y'all are in a real mess if that's the kind of foolishness that you're out in these streets believing. The bottom line is this: when you come on this program, you're going to get questions. And you're going to get questions and comments from myself, and most importantly, from the voters and the wider public. And if you can't handle that, I can't help you. Put an ad on the website. That's not going to get you anywhere. And there are people who are more than happy, my apologies, to run website ads and everything else, but they don't want to come on the show. So they're still giving me their money. It doesn't even make any logical sense. How does that make any sense? That's their comment to me wasn't anything about their own feelings. It was about, oh, you have a paying customer who came on your show and you rolled your eyes at him. And I'm like, okay. And he's still on the show. He's still coming on, taking his licks, taking the tough questions. Maybe I rolled my eyes at Rolston when he wouldn't answer the question that had been put to him about 4 times. And the people were like, just answer the question. Remember somebody called in and said, Rolston, it's really easy. It's kind of a yes or no. And then he realized that y'all not playing with him. And guess what? He's still on the show. I think he might be coming on this week. He's still doing stuff. And Rolston has made amazing ground, amazing inroads in his constituency that he's hoping to get elected for. You don't get to choose as a candidate, or maybe you do when you aren't serious about getting elected, But if you're serious about getting elected, you don't get to pick and choose that you don't want to interact and talk with the people where they are. That doesn't make any sense. So, Carrie, go ahead and encourage them and their nonsense and see how far they're going to get. This shows the cold, hard truth. Everybody might get a little bit of the cold, hard truth here and there. Everybody's going to get blazed up. And so what? You're a representative of the people. You should know how we feel honestly about you. Damien, I know we have a record number, obviously, of people registered, but that age group has always been lackluster. And one of the major reasons is they do not want to get called, apparently, for jury duty. We need to change the system. Natasha says any politician that wants to represent the people of the Cayman Islands should not be afraid to sit on any media hot seat if they have something of worth to say. Maybe that's the problem. They ain't got nothing of worth to say. I don't know. But I can tell you, you can't decide that you want to run with, with any party. I don't care. And you're not able to face the people. It's as simple as that. Last week, Thursday or Friday, when we were talking about the port, I think that was a Friday's show. Was it Friday? Yes. With the CPR folks. Miss Monique is in the comment section saying, where is Emily Duku? And I agree with Monique. She's with TCCP. Where is she? Now, to be fair to them, I guess, they're organizing them to come in, because of how the actual group packages work. They'll do 4 now, then they'll bring another group, whatever. So they're saying that her group hasn't come yet. Y'all better hurry up and get her on the show. Because the people want to hear from her. All right. So incumbents automatically, they say, have a bit of an advantage over a newcomer for more reasons than one. Obviously, if you're an incumbent and you have been in front of the people for the past 4 years because you're deputy premier, you're minister of finance, whatever, the people have seen more of you in any event. They've heard you, they've seen more of you. Newcomers have to make up a lot of ground. And this is why I say to them, if you are a newcomer, you have really got to put yourself forward. All right. And so there's ground to be covered. We don't know who you are. We don't know who you stand for. We don't know nothing about you. You've got to get in front of the people to make that a reality. And I have said, in my humble opinion, that should have been done from 6 months, for a 6-month period of time before an election. Get out here. If you're serious, get in front of the people. And I don't care where you do it. If you want to go on Radio Cayman and sit in front of 5 people over there, okay, do it. But the vast majority of these candidates have gone nowhere on no platform whatsoever. And that is concerning, to say the least. You're scared to talk to people, but you want to represent people? That can't work. You're in the wrong profession. All right? If you are serious, you're in the wrong profession. Because people are always going to criticize you. That comes with the territory. People are going to expect you in times of emergency situations, earthquake, hurricanes, whatever blows their way. You have got to be able to talk to your people. You can't hide behind screens. You can't hide and, I'm going to send out a nice typed up WhatsApp message all the time. It requires more of a direct conversation with your communities across the island. And if you're not prepared to do that, I think you've got to be honest with yourself, regardless of why you think you're cut out for politics. That is an important skill. Last week, we spent some time going through some of the characteristics you guys wish to see in your elected officials. This week now, we're going to start to prioritize some of those. And we're going to go through every single constituency. I'm waiting because there are more people coming, so that's why I haven't quite committed to it yet. But we're going to go through more of these constituencies to see who are you going to support. Georgetown Central has a big announcement coming. Y'all going to be shocked when y'all hear this one. Kenneth will have multiple competitors this time. And I'll tell you the truth, I mean, I wasn't worried about Carmen taking him out. Just being honest. But this next one that's coming out, I would be worried. Somebody said Bernie's daughter's a school teacher. I don't think she is anymore. My understanding is she sits on a number of boards, but I don't think she's a school teacher anymore. She used to be either a coach or school teacher or something, but yeah. Regardless, you know, we're not interested in elected officials trying to push their family members into that same position because they want to all keep it in the family. Get your act together. No, Bobo. That not gonna work. All right, qualified people, please. Somebody said, "Oh, you look truly lovely this morning." Thank you. I'm gonna tell y'all what I've been doing with my hair. You're gonna like that. All right. I think Kenneth said during his speech that he didn't want the premier position. When have time? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Nope. Deputy premier. He's happy. I think as deputy premier. Morning. I keep hearing rumors that Don Seymour is coming for GTC. What do you mean coming for it? Like he's gonna run against Kenneth? Nah. that rumor I can safely put to bed. In fact, that makes me chuckle for more reasons than one. I don't think we'll ever see Don Seymour run for political office. So, and if he was to hit his head and decide to run, it wouldn't be Georgetown Central. So no. All right. Let me see here. Nope. Somebody says it is 3 months. So they get if they died in office, their 3 months would go to their dependents, and it's 3 months. I thought it was 3 months. I'd have to go back and double check the legislation, but I'm pretty sure it is 3 months, but I will confirm it. I'll go back. Yeah, that's what I meant. Oh, they added the 2 months. Oh, I see. No, I thought they hadn't done that. So this person's saying that they added the constituency office assistants. If an MP doesn't get elected, they now get 3 months. I mean, my apologies. They now get 2 months and 3 months for elected officials. Oh, thank you for clarifying, because I thought that they didn't get anything because that was the way that it was. But this person's saying that they have actually since made the adjustment. Okay. Let me see. Morning. I think it's maybe Suzanne Bothwell for Georgetown Central. Nope. No, honey child. All right. I heard Kenneth went to Carmen and begged her not to run because she's going to take food out of his mouth. That's what this person's saying. Also notice he's not wearing his trademark yellow tie, maybe. During the last part of sitting, both he and Julie were wearing a lot of red. Coincidence? I think not. Oh, really? Hold on. Let me go and have a look. Well, he was wearing this. He was wearing yellow.
I want to see surety of where you're going to be standing, who you're going to be standing with, whether you're going to have a group or not.
Okay.
And I have a lot of conversations to have with the good people of Georgetown Central. So I want to recognize that it didn't go across my head. I was didn't know how to hold it, how to handle it when he did that. So I appreciate that. I respect the request.
All right. This person said, have you heard any possibilities for new candidates for Red Bay? Because the current two, OMG, I was planning to go fishing instead of voting. That's Leon Gold and what's his name again? Roy Tatum. I was just say Roy McTaggart. Roy Tatum. Yeah, lackluster at best. They're not going nowhere. Oh, mess. But no, Red Bay, something's coming for Red Bay, so stay tuned. That's definitely going to happen. And all right. Let me see here. Shaka says, Auntie Sandy, it's obvious these so-called politicians don't have a clue about professional administration. Therefore, succession planning is possibly not a thought they entertain. Wow. What a mess. Anthony, Georgetown Central and East End got a big shopping list to choose from, none of which put all together can make one. What a mess. V, the money man, says, I think politicians with business, military, law background are better candidates. Duke says, on Mr. DMS, Georgetown North, yeah. Georgetown North? Nope. No. Salvin says, good morning, Sandy. You mentioned a structural process that would help the country determine who's best to be chosen for parliamentary leadership. Youth leadership in the Westminster system is important. I agree 100%. And you should have given yourself a kaboom for that suggestion. Oh, bless your little heart. However, you seem to have a valve of like and dislike based on where the person is at a particular time. Where the person is at a particular time. I'm not sure I understand what that means, but let's keep reading. You're now blasting Chris and John, but was kind to them when they were part of what is now TCCP. Help me appreciate. Well, I'm going to help you appreciate because it had nothing to do with that. So let's rewind it back, honey child. I've never been fond of John. Okay, so let's back it way. Let's go way back. It's like the plane. The signal the plane. If you've really been paying attention, and I know sometimes y'all really don't, I have never had time for John from when he was with UDP. I was one of the people, it was, I think, myself and Denny Warren Jr., who challenged John and who legally challenged John and, oh God, what was his name again? Mark Scotland, when they did not file their returns as requested by law within their required period of time. Because certain people don't think that they have to follow the laws of this country, even as elected officials. And that says a lot about them. And you should be very, very cautious of anyone who comes with that kind of vibe. Okay? The biggest issue I have with John is he cannot put two sticks together and rub them and get anything sensible. There's something intellectually, and I don't need a genius to run for public office, but we shouldn't be picking the dumbest of the dumb either. The man is confusing as hell. Him and his donkey stories during COVID, his wanting to speak in tongues during COVID. I just can't take it. There's something innately wrong with John where he does not make sense. And on top of it, he breaks the law, the labor laws and everything else on a regular and routine basis. So I have never liked him as a candidate. Now, as an individual, I ain't got no beef with the man. I mean, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? But he also beats up people. He's a woman cheater. I've never heard of him beating women, but remember the incident where he beat up his soon-to-be ex-wife. They were estranged and separated. Her boyfriend, and he actually lied to her. He called his ex-wife and said, he had somebody else call her, his best friend, one of them berries, and said, oh, he was in an accident and she must come quick. You can imagine the father of your child, of your children, getting someone to call you to tell you he was just in a really bad accident. You're thinking the poor guy's going to die, and you have to explain this to your children. You run downstairs only to find out it was a ploy to get you and your new man out of the hotel room so they could gang up and beat up your man. Now, he got off in a court of law, as he often does. He's just not a good person on all fronts. Lacks intellectual capability, really doesn't do anything for the people of the constituent except pays the drug addicts, the drunks, and those who want a couple dollars from him so he can continue to get elected. So follow me now, because this has been going on for probably 15 or 20 years that I have had zero use for him. So this not no John a come lately, pun intended, situation. Right? When he joined the PAC government, I was one of the people who was like, y'all sure you want this to happen? Chris Saunders strategically brought him on board for a reason, and it wasn't to be beneficial to the PAC government. They were trying to do some unseating from the word jump. And he's belligerent and he's disrespectful. Both him and Chris Saunders, I have an email letter I'm going to be releasing here shortly about how disrespectful Chris Saunders is. They're sitting there with the governor, cursing out the governor, carrying on like riffraff, like real riffraff, real hoodlums. And these are the people who are supposed to be representing us, the people. So, TD, that not gonna work. Now, there's a lot of people that I'm willing to give people a chance. I'm going to give you a chance, and then I'm going to say, prove me wrong. Okay? So, Chris Saunders, let me tell you the history with Chris Saunders since you're so interested. And once again, unfortunately, you don't have your information correct and you're misguided. The first time Chris Saunders ran, I was in his constituency, and he came to me, and I've known Chris for a hot minute, you know, and asked for my vote, and I told him no. I did not vote for him the first time. And he got all up in his feelings. He wouldn't speak to me for a year or two, can't remember how long. And then he slithered back around and, oh, you know, Sandy, you were right. Because I said, you're not ready. I said, I don't think you're ready. You might be intelligent, but that's not the only criteria. You're not ready. I have concerns. One of the biggest concerns is the dude is just conceited to like a different level. And it's called narcissism in the real world. That's what it is. Right? You can't tell him nothing. Him and his story is when he stand up, he takes up 2 hours of parliamentary time, not to really significantly research and debate an issue, but to tell you, oh, my papa this and my mama this. And, oh, you know, I remember when I was in Jamaica and my cousin did. I'm like, dude, shut up. Just debate the topic. You know, on Friday, they didn't get out of the LA thing till almost 11 o'clock at night because all of them, radio cuts off, Gabby at 9:30. Don't forget, the show ends 9:28, actually. So we get 2 hours on radio. So yeah, he's sitting there talking foolishness. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't care. You need to do better. But the real issue I have with him, where the buck had to stop, two primary things. Number one, he is proven to be extremely dishonest. And one thing I can't stand, as Caymanians would say, is a liar. Not a liar, a liar. And he can lie. He would lie anybody 6 feet under. The man lied too much. Now, lots of politicians lie to me. I'm going to be honest with you. because they think I'm fool. And then they come begging me for something. And I'm just there looking at them. Oh, but Sandy, it wasn't me. I was in cabinet telling them they need to come to you because you reach more people than even GIS. And I was supporting you. And I'm just sitting there. I say after this election, I should have a master's degree or maybe a PhD in diplomacy. Because what I should really do is cuss their black behind out. Because I know they're lying to my face, but I'm just sitting there cool, calm, and collected, sipping on my water or tea when they invite me to lunch. And I make sure I make them pay too. I say, yep, you can pick up the tab, honey child. So here I am. Sipping, having my little salad. Sometimes I'm going to go out and have steak and lobster and everything, and they're going to pay for it. And while they groveling and begging and telling me all these lies to my face, I know the truth. I'm just like, oh, poor you. Thinking auntie stupid. I wasn't born this size, honey child. Yep. No, I'm going to be the first diplomat. I tell you all this bullshit they be throwing on me. I'm going to be the first diplomat. So anyway, lots of them lie. Okay. And I go with the flow. I'm like, okay, if you say so. But what you don't do is you don't cross the thresholds of my front door. You don't come into my house and lie to me in my house, because this is my domain. I pay CNB too much money for this house. Y'all better know the real score. That's why I don't invite people over to my house. I'm like, I don't want y'all. If you've ever come into my house and you step through my front door, consider yourself lucky, honey child. Sometimes I had one wannabe candidate the other day call me. Oh, I'm running in your area. I'd like to come by your house and sit down and talk to you. Who? Come by who house? Oh, no, honey child. You're not stepping past my front door. As a matter of fact, I don't even want you on my porch. Right now, those nasty frogs got my porch all messed up because they pooping everywhere. I still don't fix them. But I don't even want you on the porch right now. Don't come. Don't come on my front porch, okay? As a matter of fact, don't even stop at my yard anymore. I might meet you at the coffee shop if you're lucky. Chris Saunders passed the threshold of my front porch. Let me tell y'all what he did. I told y'all before, but I know y'all forget. Salvin, are you paying attention? I need you to pay attention now, because this has nothing to do with him, impact government, and where he stands politically. He has proven himself to be a dishonest piece of shit. That's why I can't take him no more politically. There's 3 central things that I have wrong with Chris Saunders. I'm going to point him out to y'all. Number 1, he came inside my house and the bitch lied to me, to my face. And that's a real insult to me in the worst kind of way. Like I said, I'm working too hard for the mortgage and paying for this to you to roll up on my house. Now, this was in relation to the LFTs. So any of you who think that I have an issue with Chris because he wears platform shoes and he has short man syndrome and probably a small you-know-what, that ain't the problem. Okay? Y'all need to pay attention. The whole situation with the LFTs, this is when Randy Marin's company got it. I got word of what was the contract. I got word of what was going down. They gave him the contract, the civil servants. Then the politicians canceled the contract. This was all, AJ, this is crazy. Listen. So y'all know me. I'm going to call sources. So I called and I said, Chris, the premier was not on island. I can't remember why he was off. He was in the UK. I can't remember if that was the funeral. Some reason he was in the UK. So I called Chris. You're acting premier. You're sitting there with cabinet and y'all made this decision to pull the rug underneath this contract. I need to understand what has happened. Why was that done? Okay? What he gonna tell me? Oh, Sandy, there's so much more to this. Them white Caymanians, talking about Randy Marin, you know, them white Caymanians, they gotta get everything and this, that. And I was like, I said, what? Hold on now. You know, us Caymanians, we run the gamut of what we look like. Some of us are white. Some of us are brown. Some of us are black. Some of y'all talking about you high yellow. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but whatever. It don't make no difference to me. Caymanians are, you know, we're supposed to be coming first in this country. And when I hear other people begrudging their own because you white, or you black, or you brown, or you not from the right side of the tracks, or you not rich, or you not poor, I'm like, that don't set right with me. So the rhetoric was problematic. I'm like, no. We are certainly not to the point where we are going to sit here and talk about each other like this. White Caymanian, brown Caymanian, this, that, next thing. No, boo-boo. And I'm listening, and I then hear him say to me, there's other people like, oh God, what is his name again? He does HR. I don't know if he's at the port. Oh God, somebody help me with his name now. He used to work in core government, and then he left. He's run for office before as well. Oh, from Georgetown? Somebody help me with his name now. Ay. I can't remember. What the heck is his name again? Oh, he also wants to get into the whole port thing. Oh shit. What's the name of the other one? Oh, Walling Whitaker? Yeah, him. I think he's over at the port doing HR or something. I don't even know where Walling is these days. But anyway. So, yeah, Walling can do this and this, not. I'm like, Walling has a medical supply company? He has contacts to get this large of an order in? Y'all shouldn't be out here giving your friends contracts just because. Hold on now, that's not how it works. Then the part that got me, so I said, okay, Chris. And I call other people, civil servants. I call in this one. I call in that one. I get in the full sauce. And it's appearing more and more that Chris Saunders was lying about how this happened, because he threw the civil service under the bus. He claimed that Franz Manderson and Eric Bush and all these other people did it wrong. They did the wrong process. And I said, really? Franz Manderson doesn't know the correct process? I'm like, what? No, that can't be. And he's not going to follow the process? I'm sitting there scratching my head like something sounds suspicious. I call other people politically. And then I start to hear that what actually went down in caucus, cabinet, wherever the hell they were meeting, is that Chris Saunders lied to all of his colleagues and told them that they could not vote for this contract, although it already had been vetted and requested by the civil service, because Randy Marin, his company, has Wayne Panton as a partner in the company. Now, that's interesting, because all they had to do was go to the register of interest and see whether or not Wayne Panton has ownership in Blue, what's the name of the company again? The Blue something, medical supplies. They didn't do that. They went off of rumor and innuendo and whatever. Come to find out, it was incorrect information. Blue Water. Although the premier does have other business interests with Randy Marin, that was not one of them. So he threw Premier Panton under the bus with a lie. His colleagues believed it. They didn't fact check anything themselves, because at that time, they did not understand how much of a liar. Somebody say, Sandy, you got to really say that more like a Caymanian now, you know? It's lied. Okay. They say you're still saying it too proper. Chris Saunders was. Chris Saunders lies all the time. That man, when I tell you he's a Spanish machete, he's like a quadruple Spanish machete. He will run to Jay Ebanks and tell Jay, you know, this come up and I was taking up for you and this, that, next thing, and then turn right around and cut the man's throat with Wayne and Kenneth and all these other people. Y'all think this is a joke? This is not no joke. Okay? So I said, wow, damn. When I start to hear, I'm talking to civil servants, I'm talking to other MPs, other ministers, and they're like, no, Sandy, that's not what happened. He like, oh, he didn't want him to have it because Wayne Panton has an interest. I called Wayne Panton. Wayne, do you have an interest in this company? Come straight now. Wayne was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. He wasn't on island. But he said, anyone can go and check my register of interest, because one thing I'm going to do is be honest. And I have the most business and the most assets of any of these MPs. And I register everything as is required by law. So if they had any questions about whether I was part owner, shareholder, whatever, in Blue Water, all they had to do was go and check the records. They don't have to believe me. Go check the records for themselves. So I said, what? All right. When I asked the civil servants, I said, Miss Sandy, FOI it. You want to get all the documentation you need to see precisely what happened. But you see, he must have thought Randy Marin is some fool, and he was going to just take it, Randy Marin, slap their asses with a lawsuit. Over $100,000. And then on top of that, now they're going to pay additionally by November of 2021, because the deal that he was able to secure a month before that, he could no longer get. And so the government ended up paying more for those LTs because of Chris Saunders wasting our money. We look like we got money to waste around here. So let me tell you what he did to me now. I'm going to tell you the lie that he came in my house. He run up on me. I messaged him and I said, Chris, because he was telling me, don't print the story. This is what he said. Sandy, if you care about Wayne Panton, you're not going to print this story. I said, what? If I care about Wayne Panton? I said, no, Bobo. That's not how this works. This ain't got nothing to do with whether I care about him, whether I like him, whatever. If his hands are dirty, the story is getting printed, and everybody came out and know Wayne Panton's hands are dirty. So what are you telling me? He wouldn't come right out and tell me Wayne Panton's hands were dirty. This is what he said. Well, it's a perception. Even the perception of impropriety could be wrong. And it would look a certain way. And I said, well, that could be Wayne Panton's problem that he'll have to clean up. That ain't got nothing to do with me. The story is about to get published. So I was still investigating. That evening, I messaged Chris and I said, the story is about to get published. Less than 2 minutes later, that man was at my front door ringing my doorbell. And I'm like, who the hell ringing my doorbell this time of night? I look at my little Ring camera and I see that it's Chris Saunders. I said, Chris, I just messaged you. I just talked to you on the phone 2 minutes ago. How you get to my front door so quick? He must have flew here. So I go, then I said, how the hell you get here? Oh, no, I was on my way home. And I tell the driver must just come here. I said, oh, okay. Come in to my house with his platform shoes on. Sandy, you can't print this story. This can make Wayne look bad. I said, that really is not my concern here. If y'all did wrong and made this decision and Wayne was part of it, then, he gonna have to go down with the ship. Later, we find out Wayne wasn't even on island. He had nothing to do with the decision at all. Other ministers were like, no, this is why we made the decision, because of what Chris sold us. He sold us a bunch of lies and we didn't know at the time. So he came in my house, Salvin, and lied to me in the worst kind of way. I do take these things a little personal, because you don't have to lie to me. You can just keep your mouth shut and say nothing at all. All right, let's move on to the next infraction. So the first one is in relation to this Blue Water thing. The next one is in relation to how he got the head of protocol, and y'all don't know this full story, and I'm not trying to dredge nothing up for her, poor her. She's had such a mentally tough time. But how he basically got the head of protocol put on leave, administrative leave, for him and his bullshit. All right? So Chris Saunders seems to think, and this was one of the reasons why I didn't vote for him the first time, and I thought he came back to me and said, I was right, that he needed to address certain things and that he had addressed it. And I wanted to believe him when he said that to me. Now I see that I was just played, and I'm willing to admit that I was played. He thinks he is special. When he goes to the airport, he wants certain privileges, not just for himself as deputy premier and as minister, but for his entire family. And those privileges do not extend entirely to his family. What I'm talking about is breaching safety regulations, FAA regulations at the airport, or whatever UK equivalent is to that do not allow his family members in certain secured areas. Okay? He was pressuring protocol to allow them to come behind the security fence. Like he can get dropped off. He doesn't even have to go through the airport, you know. He can go right up to the back fence and do a meet and greet. You've seen them do this before when we have dignitaries or certain people here. They take them right there. Then they can go through the special designated, lounge that's just for dignitaries and ministers and whatever. He gets that privilege. His family doesn't. His family kids, they don't get that privilege. He was expecting them to get it. Him and unfortunately the gentleman that works in the protocol office, my little friend there, Derek Ebanks, have a very, very close relationship. So Derek gives him anything he wants, because then Derek gets to accrue all of this over time that the government just signs off on because, the deputy premier wanted me to come to the airport. He doesn't follow the correct procedure or protocol or nothing to request for services to be rendered, because he knows Derek is going to bend and break the rules for him, right? Head of protocol wasn't going to do that. The rules are the rules, and they apply to everyone, because then it would be her neck that's going to be on the line when something goes down. He requests a certain driver. His driver was on holiday, and then he requested another specific officer to be able to drive him, because what you also don't know is, he's out here doing the most with women out in these streets. So he has to be careful who his drivers are, because they take him to these locations and they know his business. Oh, let's park in the garage at this condo unit because then nobody's going to know that I'm here, kind of vibe. And then he going up in the room and meeting up with women and doing the dirty. Okay? Oh, yes. And government vehicles on government time. Y'all try and hush. So, on one occasion, because they didn't send him the specific driver he wanted, he comes out of his house, sees that the government vehicle is there, parked right in his front yard. His front yard, not that big. He does not want that particular driver. So what does he do? Gets in his vehicle and drives himself to the government building. The driver did not even realize he had left out that it was him. So all of a sudden, the driver is getting a call from protocol. The deputy premier just came into the building, and he's pissed off. Where are you? I'm sitting in his yard, waiting on him to walk outside and walk up to the car. What am I supposed to do? Go to the front door and roll out the red carpet for him to get to the car? Like, what the hell? And then demand that the head of protocol, who was not even in office and had nothing to do with arranging this, must apologize to him. These are the kind of assholes that we do not need in elected office. Okay? Demanding drivers for themselves. That's why they all got these SUVs now. Because people like Chris Saunders trying to make an argument, I'd be tired at night and I need a driver. A driver to take you to a sexual rendezvous? Come on now. Like, are y'all serious? Like, really? Y'all get a dose of the cold hard truth there this morning. So he had a bone to pick with the head of protocol. Because of this bone that he had to pick with her, and I getting too much deeper into it, because he also knows what else he would have been doing unprofessionally with that office. Him and the same Derek that I just mentioned lined up a little situation that they found out about that they thought would get her fired from her job. This is a Caymanian who's dedicated over 30 years of service to the people of the Cayman Islands. And that little Johnny come lately fucker called Chris Saunders is going to cause this woman, a single mother, to lose her job over nonsense. And then he lies and goes to the governor and embellishes the story and makes it even worse causes this woman to be on administrative leave for over 2 years, and then government realized, oops, they made a mistake, they should have to pay her a couple $1 million is what they should have to do. All because of Chris Saunders and his bullshit. Ain't nobody gonna come to me with nothing with Chris Saunders and don't think that I know the man enough to know that he's not a good fit for the people of the Cayman Islands. He better go back in private sector and sexually harass some people there so somebody can box his ass down. Yes, that's exactly what he did. One of his own constituents at one time, this is what he did to her. That was number 2 reason. Number 3 is how he was treating the women that worked in his office, the civil servants that worked in his office. I've requested the FOI because I want to see every single letter. The governor's office had to get involved and terminate his instruments of his instrument of appointment as minister and deputy premier. He's going on lying to people up until this day, claiming that he resigned from that position. Chris is a liar through and through. And when I get the written confirmation, I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to show it to you, that he was terminated from that job. He has even other ministers talking foolishness, but he told me, because all we know is he walked out of the premier's office and said he resigned. He didn't resign. He got fired. Now, Wayne Panton, being, trying to be decent, I guess, gave him the opportunity to save face and resign. And because he's a narcissistic little fucker, he refused to resign. You know what he was doing to some of these women in his ministry? Propositioning them sexually to the point where they were put on leave for their own mental health and well-being. And you want to know why I have an issue with Chris Saunders? Let me tell you something. There's enough women out there that would be willing to sleep with anybody and anything. You don't have to go to your workplace and harass married women, my apologies. You don't have to go there and harass single mothers and others in government who work there and they're there to work. You can go out on the streets and find somebody else. But he got a sickness that he needs to get professional help for. And when he would say to them, you want me to stop propositioning you, don't you? And they say, yes, please. Yeah, you would want that. I'm not going to stop until you give in. This is the kind of stuff. Imagine if that is your sister. Imagine if that is your mother, your aunt that he's doing this to. He lucky that they look like they kind of soft, That needed to be one of them from Georgetown Central, one of them Macfields that could have rolled up on him and knock him off his platform shoes with one good lick. I don't really joke around with certain things, you see? And I want y'all to understand the one thing that I can't, when I know that somebody is like that, or they like children sexually, and they have a history of that, or they've been, they've raped women, that I can't support you. And don't think that I don't know who you guys are up in that parliament. David, thank you for your resignation. Bernie Bush, thank you for your resignation. Because this election cycle was not going to be good because I was going to be coming with all of them. Mario Ebanks, don't do it. Don't go in because I don't want to say nothing. I'm just saying, y'all need to stop. McKeever Bush, we don't know about you. So anybody who feels like they can vote and support someone like Chris Saunders, that means that you don't know the man and you've not been paying attention. Forget about everything else that he has not accomplished. Even when he was minister, when he was deputy premier, the man did nothing. All he does is offers the people of Cayman these ridiculous stories and sound bites that don't make one iota of sense. The complaints would have gone to the deputy governor or cabinet secretary, whoever. Well, when we get them, we'll see exactly who they were addressed to. Unfortunately, when the premier asked him to resign, he refused to do so. Imagine These women going to the deputy governor in tears, emotionally distraught that they had to be put on leave from their jobs, that they're afraid. Some of them are even afraid to put their complaints in writing because they felt if he got back in as a ministerial position, he was going to target them and make their lives even more difficult as civil servants. And as a result of that, they were scared to even show up to work. So the premier had to email the governor. I don't know if it was an email or conversation. That part I'm not 100% sure on, but he would have notified the governor. I'm sure it had to be in writing that I need you to terminate the instrument of appointment for Chris Saunders. That's called a termination. That's when you were fired. And then it gets even better, Selvin. I hope you're paying attention, honey child. When he got fired, right? Heard that I was going to talk about it on the show. He runs to people he think can control the narrative on Bobo. You better warn Sandy about what she's going to say because she got the story wrong and this and that. And they're calling me, oh, Sandy, you know, there's more to this than you realize. And Chris resigned over the garbage project. And I saw it coming, you know. I said, watch how he can twist the narrative on this now. I said, yeah. I said, he gonna start off with that. He's gonna talk about the blue water thing, right? Oh, we're committing to $1 billion project. We're over. And I told the person, I said, I'm disappointed that you believe Chris Saunders. But let me tell you that my information doesn't come from any singular source. I be double checking and triple checking, and I've spoken to some of the victims myself. So I know what's going on. And he did not resign first and foremost. And this has nothing to do with these other things that he's claiming. He's just looking for an excuse. So then he tried to throw Wayne Panton under the bus again about some undersea cable and his interest in C3. That had nothing to do with it. He was lying to cover up his own ass. And eventually that person, even up until just a month ago, yep, I've come to realize that you were right about Chris. I'm like, really? Took you long enough? So I hope, Selvin, that answers your question about why I no longer can support Chris Saunders and why I have never supported John. Look at how many times I've written about John owing people pension during COVID. You never knew when you were going to get COVID and be in the hospital. There were people actually going to the hospital who worked for John's company to find out they had no insurance coverage. And this is who y'all want as Minister of Labor? Those are legal obligations. Why hasn't DLP taken this man to court yet? He's getting preferential treatment. He had the audacity during the pension break, during COVID, when he didn't have to pay the rest of his workers. You would think, okay, this is a great time now for him to catch up on his pension arrears. Get Mr. Donovan sorted out. Did he do that? No, he didn't do that. Stop paying the man. And he's owed him for over 10 years. Why are we electing people to public office who are lying in their business dealings, dishonest? If y'all know the details of how he would be sending through, because he got a contract for government, the Auditor General's office needs to audit that whole contract. He would send through invoices for days when there wasn't even a friggin' flight operating at that time. So why would his security people be working? And you know what? Moses Kirkernel, who was the minister at the time of tourism, would instruct the Cayman Airways employees to just pay the bill. Meanwhile, Cayman Airways struggling because they owe CIAA millions of dollars in arrears for the bills that they owe them. But they can turn around and pay John's company bills without any problem, though. and not even questioning the inaccuracies in the invoices that were submitted. Carrie talking about this is all personal attacks and gossip. This is not no personal attacks and gossip. I can prove the things that I've said here today. So one of the things that he continually says to people is that he resigned. And that is the one thing I can tell you 1,000% that I will be in a position to prove, because for once in my life, I've actually requested an FOI and I'm going to get it. And I'm going to show you all the termination letter. And then I want you to come back on the show and tell me that it's personal attacks and gossip. This is why we can't do no better. Because there will always be their agents placed, and they come on this show and they try to come with their bullshit, that this is where I don't pay them no mind. There will always be their instruments placed strategically to try to confuse the people and lie to you all and think that I have some skin in this game. The only skin in this game that I have is that I'm a Caymanian. I have a Caymanian child. And I would love to have this country improve for all of us, not one of us, not a few of us, not just the elite, not just business people, all of us. And you know the joke about it? Those of you who sit down and support these assholes, you need to wake up. Because I have a choice, you know. I'm qualified. I'm skilled. I could go anywhere in the world and make it. Most y'all, you're not really in that position. I'm not looking no handouts from nobody. After Chris Saunders got elected, he came to me and asked me, name the board that you want to be on. Any board, Sandy. I can put you in a board. And I said, why would I want to be on a board? I don't want a board appointment. I don't need a board appointment. I don't want a board appointment. This is how they try to buy your loyalty and buy your silence. It is an enviable position to be in, to be able to pay your own bills and not need a single one of them. That's why I laugh at you, Carrie, when you're talking about Dan Scott. Oh, they didn't want to come on my show and they not give me money. You think I need their $30,000? Honey child, please. You need a reality check if you think I'm that desperate for money. I'm not telling you all my business, but one thing I can tell you, if I played you the voice note that I sent them, you would sink into the ground here this morning. I said, listen, maybe we're just not, don't take it personal, because I'm not going to take it personal. I don't want your $30,000. Maybe we're just simply not aligned. And that's okay. That's fine. You don't have to give me any money. It's cool. I'm running a business and I have my packages and there's a way that it works. If that can't fit what you're trying to do, keep your money. Go give that 30 grand to the Compass. They might need it more than me, God knows. I don't know. But I'm actually perfectly good. Very few of you can say that in the space of 2 years, you could pay off a $300,000 mortgage. I'm just saying, leave me alone in my little corner. I don't need your fruitcakes. I don't need your money. I don't need nothing from you. I'm all right. I'm over here surviving just fine. Because when money has no real impact, because you know you can earn it on your own, right? They can't buy you. They can't buy you with a position, an appointment, whatever. You're always a problem to them. I heard they were up in Parliament calling out CMR. Oh, CMR, this and that. And got my name up in their mouth. That's okay. Because we all know the real score at the end of the day. We all know why they got a problem with me. Because I will never, never be someone that they can buy out with nothing. There's nothing that they have that I want or I need, including the dollar bills, yo. Okay? Make sure we can understand what I'm telling y'all. What was I going to expose about Mr. White? You really want to know? Oh. He's a twin, right? Ask him the allegations that have followed him and his twin brother all over Georgetown for 30 years from a lot of our gay men in the community about what they experienced when they were children. One time, him and his brother decided to roll up on me in the comment section on Facebook. This is when they would die hard PPM. Remember how they couldn't stand McKeever at one time? And then what did he say when he got elected? About how he had to swallow his own, he like a dog had to eat his own vomit? Not even a dog would in a sense would eat their own vomit. But you see the foolishness that they do in the name of politics and to get position and to get power. They sell their very souls for it. And this is why they should not be trusted. So they got up in their feelings back in 2017, probably right before 2017, posting some bullshit about me. Oh, you're a thief. This was the nation building fund because them idiots were charging me with that, right? Mind you, now I wasn't being charged with theft, but anyway, that's lost on them because they're not so bright. Oh, well, you're a thief. I said, oh, honey child, what you going and say that for? I said, first of all, I'm not a thief, but I would much rather be called a thief than to be called a fucking child molester. Well, Lord Jesus, that was the day that Facebook comment got me unfriended from both of them and blocked from, I think, Chris. Yes, ask me if I care. Them Georgetown boys know. Even Noel has gotten a public platform and talked about what was done to him. You know how many gay men I know living in the UK that could tell me stories about what happened to them as young boys? Oh, come, we'll give you a job at the gas station. Mm-hmm. And the grandmothers knew what was going on. They're another bunch of donkeys. Oh, you just be careful, you hear? How you gonna tell a little 9-year-old boy, a little 10, 11-year-old boy must go work in the lion's den and they must be careful? They don't even know what that means. Y'all were throwing your children to the wolves and tell them to be careful? One brother was doing the deeds and the next one taking pictures, allegedly, taking photos and plying these boys with alcohol so they could have their way. Y'all think that people don't know, huh? Right. We got MPs right up and they're being accused of rape. Them same West Bay ones that now talking about they resigning. Well, good fucking riddance. Get out. Y'all done gone and get me started here today. Lord Jesus, take the bus. It's just ridiculous. We have got to do better. The best we can do is child molesters? And they don't make no contribution to the community? But I tell y'all, I have had enough. Listen, 2025, I'm supposed to be sitting here calm, cool, and collected. And y'all done made me going off here today. I'm still calm, cool, and collected, mind you. So, Selvin, I hope that answers your question. Because I don't want you to get it twisted. This don't have nothing to do with my loyalties to any party or anybody. In fact, I'm not really a fan of party politics, truth be known, because I have seen with my own two eyes, being a founding member of the PPM, you and LaJohn come lately at PPM, you don't know the score there either. Your wife, yep, she's one of them. Has she been there long enough to kind of know what's going on? But I think your opinion has been tainted when it comes to the PPM. They will do what they need to do by any means necessary to stay in power, and that's my biggest issue. They've not played a very good opposition, none at all, because them and Julie, once she took over, were in bed with each other. They understood the score fully. And so I'm not impressed now that they're joining up with Kenneth, or that he's joining up with them. That's a marriage of convenience. And y'all fully know well what I think of marriages of convenience. If you have to enter a marriage of convenience, that means something either wrong with you or something wrong with the other party. And a marriage of convenience does not last the test of times, I can tell you that much. Because you're not aligned on a matter of principle, none at all. See this idiot here, joke? Hold on. Let me show you him now, complaining and blaming the media. He's the next one during COVID, had his wife and her legs up in the air with some other man. And the best explanation he could give was some donkey story. I can be sued? I know they wouldn't be so stupid, because only then would the details really come out. Here the jackass, yeah.
I just want to say that in closing, that I want to thank my family, my wife, my children. You know, people don't understand how it affects my children when Mall Road and CNS says stuff.
Really?
You know, that's what running.
I know your children must know you already.
They're gonna create one conundrum. They don't understand what's gonna happen when they can't find good people to run.
Stick a pin.
They've never seen.
Stick a pin. Good people to run. Is he trying to say that he's a good person to run? What the hell is this man saying? Yeah, I haven't seen this clip yet. Somebody just sent it to me. The conundrum when they can't find good people. John. My God, if you would retire, try and shut your mouth. Your children? You don't want me to talk what was in your divorce papers now? What your wife went into a court of law and family court and said about you? That every time she had to lie down with you was like being raped by a fucking monster. Try and hush your mouth. I don't want you. Your children are lovely girls, but no thanks to you. Their mother has done an amazing job with them, and other people have assisted. They're getting blowjobs from Spanish women on your birthday? I don't know what kind of messed up marriage you guys have, but you need to hush too. Ask people when you started checking your wife and how old she actually was. And if you wasn't checking another family member older than her and using that as an excuse to go around her as a teenager, shut up. Because when I hear you say stuff like this, trying to come for CMR, I want to tell you, you don't have any idea if I really start opening my mouth about you too. Don't go there, because people know when you started messing with her. And you wasn't single at the time either. Y'all crazy.
Said anything about me that was true yet.
I not say nothing about you that's true yet, but you're an
Never
idiot.
said anything about me that was true.
Really?
My daughter got called me from overseas.
Trying her, she don't call you.
University and breaking down and stuff. And my wife got hide, stay in a room.
Oh yeah, she hiding because you probably trying to beat her over that man.
People don't understand what it does to your family. I've lost the family already because of politics. You know?
No. What? He lost a family because of politics. That's not why Melanie left you. She left you because she realized what an idiot you are. And you're actually not a good man. And even though she is there trying to, do her part, you out here on these streets running around with women. That's why your marriage fell apart, because of you. Take responsibility for that shit. That ain't got nothing to do with politics. Melanie just finally came to her senses. Praise the Lord. She's such a beautiful woman. I can never fathom what she was doing with you. You ain't got no sense. Stop your lying on people about marriage because of politics.
My wife got high.
Let me tell you how stupid he is. The current wife now, she's just there because she want a little position, whatever, but still gonna have her little man on the side because apparently he not doing it. He is so not creative, right? Melanie, his first wife, the ex-wife now, she planned the whole thing, the honeymoon, whatever. What does he do? He doesn't even have an original bone in his body. He takes the second wife to the exact same place for their honeymoon. Tahiti, the place where he named his daughter after. He got to turn around and take the second wife there.
Stay in a room, People don't understand what it does to your family. I've lost the family already because of politics.
Mm.
You know? Well, I don't want to go on the rant that MP Saunders went on.
Really?
But I think people know me.
Uh-huh.
I'm serious for a reason.
You serious for a reason? Joke. You didn't get that name for no reason. Joke. Dumb. Come on now. Serious for a reason. My God. Folks, we got to do better. If this is the best that we can do, I mean, honest to God, we got a problem. We have got to do better. It's sad. I don't know what else to say. But they're not going to roll up on me. They can say whatever they want in Parliament because they know they got parliamentary privilege. But I can tell you one thing. The truth is what I've got. Okay? And there's too much dirt. Y'all forgot about that case with the child who was allegedly sexually molested in Bodden Town, how that went so quiet and disappeared. John cutting checks and giving people money in his district in relation to that. Well, he served me legal papers, and all now, man, I know what happened to legal papers. Leanna want to know about Hugh and Kenneth. Oh, Jesus. You also have the picture, the photograph with Hugh? Send me that photo again. You know, the little one. Because I might need that this election. Try and send me that photo. Are we able to get the video this time from the Spanish girl? Because she couldn't get her boob job paid for. So she got all upset. Wanted to release the video and the photos. Well, she sent out the photo. And like I tell him, I seen the photo with my own two eyes. I saw it. But like I tell him, I don't know who penis look like what. Because I not seen it in person. And I'm not interested. But, you know, the wife might be able to recognize it. She might be able to recognize those feet and the tiles underneath as well. Resend me that photo, Bobo. You know what I'm talking about, sir. Send me that photo again. I might have to look too far in my archives for it. Resend me that photo. Okay? We might have to go on an investigative journey. Oh, yes, I got a physio appointment. I got to get out the back door. What is it? Mighty God of Daniels. Press the brakes on John. Hey, he lucky. He lucky. This person said Melanie was with him for the money. Poor her. She was so embarrassed of him. She used to walk behind him in stores. Facts. Lord have mercy. Does he even know the meaning of conundrum? Oh, my God. This one says, are you sure you're not a gay man? Because no one reads people like you. Honey, chill. This person said, hurry up and take the bypass. Oh, traffic is bad on Crew Road. What? Road works. Okay. All right. We got an alternative bypass. Good. Anyway, we coming back to them. They're not getting off so easy. But what I'm going to tell them is, don't y'all come for me in Parliament. Because I tell you one thing. I know too much y'all dirt. You know the lie that they went around telling on me the other day? Yeah, I gotta get going here now. The lie they went around telling me about, I stole $500 from the PPM office. That's why they terminated me. I said, boy, y'all can lie. How many years ago that I've been, and I not even hear this rumor until recently, but hear this now. Roy Tatum, little fucker, I hear that you going around telling people this for a couple years now. You're lucky I not heard it and seen you since, because I can box you down for lying on me. Let me tell you something. I have been poor and I have had money. Yeah? Money don't make the person. Let's get that straight first and foremost. Okay? Money don't make the person. But let me tell y'all something. I have never been that poor where I compromised my morals and stole money from anybody. That's not how Aunt Lottie raised me. I'd rather go beg first than I got steal. So they go around telling people I stole $500 from the PPM office. And I said, really? I said, why they didn't call the police on me? Where's Kurt Tibbetts? I want Kurt Tibbetts to clear this up. Kurt Tibbetts was there. Alden was there. Billy Adam, Denny Warren. They know why I ended up leaving the PPM office. And they also know why I resigned from PPM. I resigned from PPM. Go check the fucking email I sent y'all. It was because I was going to do my straight talk show. And I didn't want to do a show and be a party member because that, in my view, compromised me. Because everybody can get blazed up when it's time. Now y'all pushing this narrative, but I stole $500. Hear the stupidity, what they telling people. When people say, well, why didn't y'all call the police on her? Why didn't you do something about it? Oh, well, she has so much dirt on her members. Really? So had I stolen $500, that is not such a big deal because I got so much dirt on your members? That way Barbara running from political office, she don't want me to talk about her and Alden anymore? Or her and David? Or her and Kurt Tibbetts? Doorknob turning, everybody took a turn on that bicycle? Poor Barbara. That's what they like around them is weak women, you see, that they can use. And when they can't use you, they go around lying on you, but you stole $500. Praise the Lord. I have never in my life been that desperate. No, TD. That is a bold-faced lie. So, Selvin, I know you're up in PPM behind, and you probably heard it too. So let's set that record straight while I'm talking to you here today. Okay, honey Jill? Don't believe that because that is not true. Nobody, not steal no $500 from no PPM office. They didn't even have cash in the office. So I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Anyway, I got to go physio so I can sort out my poor leg so I can get back to exercising, get back on the pickleball court. Every one of you have reason to be concerned if you're coming to the table with all these things in your closet. That's why some of y'all don't want to come on the show because you know that I know. I'm just saying. Nobody is perfect. We're not looking for perfect candidates, but by God, we should sure be able to get a little bit better than these jokers. They all need to go sit their asses down for the most part. One of them in there right now, I caught him red-handed, messaging woman, sending her pictures. Tell me, they married, and then they gonna want to pretend like, oh no, somebody hacked my phone. Ah, man, when they lie to me, I'm like, you think I'm stupid. Don't say those things to me. He not been exposed yet, but I got information in my black book still, you know. I'm saving all the screenshots because when it's time to fire shots around here, I got to come out with a friggin' Uzi and y'all go all get sprayed. I'm just saying. Get it together. I'll be trying to hope that y'all will pull through for the people. I think Ralston coming on the show this week, Leanne, I'll confirm with him. Because I know y'all want to hear from people, without a doubt. Yeah, boy, they look like they're scared for true. But anyhow, it is what it is. Happy Monday, honey child. Y'all have a good day. Be good. Oh, yes. Let me not forget to tell y'all. They've been trying to hack into everything. My emails, my accounts, even Amazon. I was like, what were they going to do? Send me a package to myself? Amazon shopping for me? Oh, my God. Wow. They've been going hard, putting together all these videos about, oh, I was cursing out Hunter. Well, God knows he needed it. Proper fool. Oh, Sandy and Chelsea, mental health with our young people. It's not, they coming at me every which way, but guess what? I'm still standing. Hallelujah. Where's my hallelujah button? Oh, Jesus, that's not it. Where's my hallelujah button?
Praise the Lord.
The good Lord is so good. Carry on, carry on. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow morning, honey child. Make sure you tune in early. 7:30, bright and early. Get up early, Johan. No more brownies for you if you're not getting up early. Goodbye, folks. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.